Hello, welcome to the tSports Network, the home of tabletop sports, on this beautiful Sunday in Ottawa, in Canada. Ottawa! And I'm joined by Mr. Peter, the Falcon, Colosimo. Hello.
Hello.
And we are here for an exciting round 4 and 5. 5 later. 4 now.
5 and 6. We did 4 yesterday, Rob.
Oh, my God.
Rob is so out of it. Last night, folks, he had so many vegetables. The rest of us were eating slimy lobsters and just whatever Darren Say would throw at us. Rob was like, no. Just snow peas for me, please.
Snow peas only, water, and to sleep.
And then he didn't sleep.
Because I was preparing for these very exciting 40k matches. As the chat are already saying, it doesn't make sense what the professor is up to, so we're going to talk about it. Someone said, get Henshaw on or we riot.
Well, sucks to be you guys. Henshaw decided to get a 90-90 draw yesterday with Jeremy Atkinson, so no one wants to see them anymore, as we're only doing undefeated tables for the rest of the day.
We are only doing undefeated tables because 120 people playing here at the Capital City Bloodbath 2022, ready to play. We're going to jump straight to the tables.
Yes.
Jump straight to the tables. We go straight to table 1 because I know that they're close to deployment, or they maybe are into the first turn.
Already into their first turn. It looks like Tyranids have gone first because he's pushed up. So let's go over this. First off, the mission.
The mission we're doing.
So mission here is the Scouring. So the Scouring is a hold 1, hold 2 mission, and it's got a very particular primary objective, which is if you have a unit standing or within range of an objective marker, you can choose to perform an action. If you successfully complete that action by your next command phase or the end of the game, whichever happens first, score 3 extra victory points at the end of the game. You can do that once for each of these 5 objectives that are on the board. Now, we do use clear objective markers here because we're not animals unless the players ask us. We've got an objective here, 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 and here. As you can see, my circle's perfect as always.
Flawless.
And
Flawless, exactly
they
what I
are
want.
all in no man's land. So you do have to push up if you want to get these points, boys and girls. Our players, we have. Can you the Tyranid player? His name is
Tim DeFleets.
No, Tim Dietlifs is our Harlequins player, my friend.
Oh, so there's Francois.
Francois Lalonde.
Francois, there he is.
That's how it's pronounced in Canada.
Hello, Francois. Give a wave to the camera. He doesn't seem to want to.
No, he's very depressed. You can see. That's how
Francois
Francois does
charmer.
everything.
Like
he really is.
He's been. Okay. And so we're against. So needs to have done nothing. We just heard a moment ago. Thanks, table boss. Our table boss, by the way, the lovely Ricky Dickey.
Ricky Dickey, 9 doors.
Yeah, thank you. Our cameraman is Tom, and our info reporter is the Hef, and he will be bringing us some info later. Okay, so we know about the battle plan. The mission. Sorry. Is there any special rules for for the primary for this?
Really, it's just what I described in trying to get those actions on these objectives.
Okay.
Our players here, Francois is running a almost all foot Tyranid army.
Interesting.
Tyranid warriors.
No big monsters. One big monster.
One big monster. He does have his Hive Tyrant, which you can't leave home without when you're playing Tyranids. This is a Leviathan Tyranids list. Leviathan are kind of the fear reapers right now in the 40k community. Tyranids have about a 16% T-whip. That's tournament and winning position, the amount of times factions get almost win an event or do win an event. And that's really all based off of Leviathan, which gives you a special rule called, we colloquially call transhuman.
Okay.
So everything in Francois' lists can only be wounded on a 4+, no matter what.
Every unit?
Every unit. Now,
no.
Leviathan is normally going to be a 3-up for most things, but synaptic units with the synaptic link keyword, they actually, it's on a 4-up. Tyranid warriors happen to have that. Tyranid warriors are troops. So Francois and many other people have just decided, why don't I only run Tyranid warriors? And then none of your big guns do anything.
Oh, I remember looking at this list, and it's just so many Tyranid. We talked about this in the car ride.
Yeah.
Yes, so many Tyranid warriors. Absolutely crazy stuff. That's really smart. That seems smart. And they've got good output too, right?
They do. The one thing Francois has chosen not to do that a lot of top Leviathan players do is run Harpies. Frank says that they are just a crutch that poor people and people with no sense of justice would run. So David Gaylard, #1 ITC player who happens to love his Harpies, just want to let you know you are wrong. Francois is right. Because he happens to be on the table in front of you right now.
It's nice. Whenever I'm over in the UK, you guys really do have that NA kind of bias. But when I'm here, you've finally got the Canadian bias.
Oh yeah,
you've
I can say whatever I want.
You've thrown it in finally. You've pitched the continent in half, and I enjoy it. Okay, good.
So Frank Oyce here, he's running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 18, 23 Tyranid warriors. They've all got Death Spitters, which are Assault 3, Strength 5 shots, so they can really put out a lot of pain against
That's
these
going to be so
Harlequins.
many shots into the Harlequins.
Yep. Relatively short range. They've also got maximum Venom cannons, which are longer range, Strength 8, AP 3, 2 damage shots. So Tim, now that he's going second, he really has to figure out what he's going to do. He doesn't have the immediate damage potential to cripple Francois. Francois here is playing a very much I'm just going to keep pushing forward in this inevitable tide. What are you going to do about it? Tim does have a couple things in his list that I'll go over soon that can put a hurt on Francois. It's just whether he can do it and stay away from that brutal Hive Tyrant in the middle with the maw claws of, I don't know, Thanax or whatever they happen to call it, whatever weird made-up word Games Workshop used.
But so the Hive Tyrant in the middle is like the big power piece, or is it like, because one of the things I find quite interesting about the Harlequin army is obviously there's a variety of units that they don't all do the same thing, but you got troops, transport, bikes. Like, it's really hard to kind of like, okay, I've taken out a troop and some transports, but you still have the rest.
Yes.
Like, it's the same thing multiplied and replied. Same with the Tyranid warriors. So in this particular game, it does seem that just that big monster is kind of the key piece, right?
Yes. So when it comes to like this game, Frank and Tim, like this big monster here, every time it kills something, it gets an extra attack. It starts with an extra attack. It's already got a lot of attacks. Tim does not want to feed that beast.
Okay.
He has tools to kill it, but not when it's surrounded by 25 Tyranid warriors plus plus like a zone plus Venom Thropes, Tyrant Guard, etc. And Tim has said as the game started, it is not worth it to even try to kill you. So Tim here is going to be doing his best to wean models and play for the objective.
Interesting. So again, this kind of like very classic, the whole army behind 2 buildings, move into the center, trade off, and then continue that process.
Yeah, I believe that's what we're going to see. And Frank Oyce is going to play the I am inevitable
I will get
style of play.
How do you feel about this as a matchup? Like, we know that Tim is just fresh back from the WTC, which is an 8-man team tournament for 40K.
Yes.
We know that he's obviously been playing. We saw him play yesterday fairly cagey, and we talked to Chris Haynes, his captain, last night, and he said one of the things that he thinks is because he's just come back from WTC, where actually getting like as close to like making sure you win like is more important than like winning big.
Yeah.
Is winning big. So do you think that we're going to see like a kind of cagey style, or how do you think this will get paired into at Worlds?
Well, I think like Tim is going to play as cage. I mean, he's playing Harlequins. It is a cagey army. They have so many tricks that they can pull off. He's got these 2 Shadow Seers. He can really mess with Frank Oyce's movement. He can mess with his charges. He does have that strat that he pulled against his sister's opponent yesterday, where he can move after a charge has been declared up against him.
Wow.
And Frank Oyce, he is very much an unga bunga dude.
Oh.
He loves to get in your face. He wants to charge you. He played Necrons round 4 yesterday, a list that he said that he had no fear of because he knew exactly what his list does, and that's push forward and kill things. So we're like this early turns for Tim and Frank Oyce, they're definitely going to be about Tim playing this kind of cagey. I'm only going to feed you 1 or 2 units at a time while I try to get an opening. And Frank Oyce is just going to be like, I just move another 6 inches forward. Let's go to secondaries real quick, and then we'll cut to game 2.
We'll just talk through them, right? Tim's got a deadly performance behind enemy lines and retrieve Nephilim data.
Yes.
And Francois has got Raise the Manus Eye, Cranial Feasting, and the Warp Ritual. Cranial Feasting actually my favorite day out, to be honest.
Not like this. So Tim, deadly performance is kind of like the Harlequin go-to secondary. If he controls an objective marker at the end of a turn that he didn't control when he started it, he gets points. If his Harlequin units kill models on objectives, he gets points. And then if he kills a whole bunch of models, he gets points. So like it's kind of feeding into his game plan here, which is going to be to hop onto objectives, like barely touch onto like the middle, do whatever he can to just eke out those points. Retrieve Nephilim data, that's just an action you can perform in table quarters to score points. And he's got such a fast army with so many troops. I feel like in this kind of cagey gameplay where he's going to be trying to put his models everywhere and create chaos for Francois to deal with. Like, come the late game, he's going to be able to rack those points up.
And we've already seen that transport move into the center there, like giving him some options.
And now he's kind of looking at what his Skyweavers are capable of doing, like how far back can they go to get him a behind enemy lines if he moves and then fires and fades. My guess is what he's trying to measure.
Honestly, currently, like in my opinion, looks like there's a lot of very like okay quality shots coming out of that Tyranid army into the Harlequins. I personally feel like that's a Tyranid game, but like
right now, it definitely looks like it's the Tyranid game to lose. Tim is definitely like the one that has to put all the mind power into this game.
Right,
Francois, all he has to do is move forward and say, "I'm going to start shooting things."
Just going to start eating that biomass.
And Nick Blackburn, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why you would think I'm saying his name wrong.
Yeah.
Francois has always pronounced his name like this. Anyway.
Right, you be quiet, Nick. Right, okay, then on table 2.
Let's go to table 2.
Table 2. So we've got Hamza. Hamza, by the way, great style. Can we talk about that? Hamza's a looker. Hamza's with his Harlequins up against Eric Marcoux, who we saw play yesterday. Eric! Now, Eric is a babe.
A hundo babe.
One hundo babe. And Eric really excited yesterday, again with his knights. So we saw this list play yesterday. We saw it play really, really well, especially into that kind of like very techy, very tricksy Imperial Guard army. But he rolled big. Actually, one of the things that we kind of didn't necessarily express as much yesterday, we got to talk to the player afterwards, is Eric obviously exploded that big Bane hammer, so shot it, blasted it, and exploded it into a 6 into the castle that was being put around by the Imperial Guard player, and it was really well. But he went for it. He said, like, I went for it. It was a crazy play. Yep. I saw it.
The math wasn't there for him, he said, but it was on that bar where it was possible.
Yes, and he just went for the possible, and I love that. Again, another good example of playing to win. He played to win, and it'll be interesting to see if he does the same as well.
And if you weren't listening yesterday when we were covering Eric's game, something you need to know about Eric Marcoux is he is an absolute maniac. He is everything around him is centered around a small ball of like white hot rage. And you can look at that face. See that smile? That smile is not real.
Eric, give us a wave, Eric. Bonjour.
That is hiding something.
Eric.
So this game here, Hamza is running a slightly different list than Tim. He's gone for 2 Troop Masters over 2 Shadow Seers. So instead of going for that warp power and those kind of tricks, he's got a little more damage potential because he has a Storied Sword, a Troop Master, and he's got that Kegarax Rhodes Troop Master. So two characters that if you give them a chance, they're going to cut something down. Playing into Knights, it's a little bit more of a struggle for them, but I have 100% seen a Kegarax Rhodes Troop Master hit a big Knight and chop off 10 or 12 wounds in one go.
Wow.
Which is not nothing.
Wait, really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a bit, you get those hot rolls, but when you're re-rolling to wound and you're playing that game with a damage 3 weapon, magic can happen.
So in the chat, if you want to look at the list, you can type !lists, and the Heifers put them into a hyperlink for you.
We
you
can also really quickly go over the list right now.
Yeah, we will do, and we'll also just say if you type !event, you can also find the BCP link, so you can also follow those at home as well, so you can check out the list there. So there's a variety of ways for you to do that, but I would really like to talk about what's actually inside the list, Pete.
Sure. So Eric, this absolute maniac, he is running a House Raven list. His oaths are defend the realm and protect those in need. He's going to be all about moving around the board, trying not to lose models, keeping his big boys up, and taking any charge that he can. He's running 2 Helverins, one with the Bastard's Helm. The Bastard's Helm, for anyone that doesn't know, it's a relic that gives +1 to wound to an Armiger, to that Armiger, the one that's wearing it, and it has a Bondsman ability where once per turn he can give an additional +1 to wound to another Armiger in his list. So it makes those 2 Helverins put out a far superior amount of damage than they normally would be capable of. He's got 5 Warglaves, so these are your close combat beasts with the thermal cannons on them, and then a Knight Crusader with Endless Fury, that is the Relic Avenger Gatling Cannon, which makes it assault and also gives it an additional 2 shots, so it's a D6 plus 14 shot weapon.
Wow.
Or maybe it's 12. And was he the one? And and he took the Blessed Arms martial tradition on him. He also has a Knight Errant, which is more of a close combat beast. He's got the Banner in Violet, which gives him an additional +1 to wound, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to go back and check on that, guys, real quick. And Iron Bulwark, so that's his Warlord, and he has a 4+ invul against
Well,
shooting.
the Iron Bulwark we saw really fail yesterday when we saw those War Dogs shoot into it. There were 14 or so, and it did some murder.
It did not. The Iron Bulwark for our friend Burton, who had been playing in our round 2 game, did not do anything. It
really did not.
It was the Ion paperwork, I would have to say.
It was not good.
Yeah.
It was not good. I actually really like the Knights lists at the moment, Pete, because the very last time we were here at Capital City Bloodbath, Knights were actually vastly dominant, in the meta. And actually, kudos to Games Workshop specifically, because actually I feel like a very, very hard army, very much like Tau, very hard army to actually produce an army that doesn't go crazy or rubbish.
Yes.
And before the new book, they were very much in the kind of the rubbish camp, pretty much. And now, as you've said, they're kind of sat in that comfortable zone.
Yes, and something we've seen ever since Nephilim has dropped is most armies, with the exception of a couple of very specific lists, not really the army themselves, have kind of fallen into this comfortable zone of a 47-48% to a 50-53% win rate.
That's great.
Which is perfect, right? We do have Tyranids, Leviathan Tyranids, and Obsec Necrons doing probably a little too good for what we'd want. And Sisters of Battle as well, Bloody Rose. But overall, the game is in such a better place than it's been in probably 2 years, and we're seeing it on these tables. We've seen some blowouts, but we've seen some amazingly close, intricate games between armies that before that would never have been the case.
No. I honestly, all of the games that we've seen so far have really come down to maybe player performance or maybe some of the options that they've given their opponents. There was a marked difference between the 2 Blood Angel plays that we saw yesterday, where one just gave all of their units up, and then the other one was you will never allow to shoot me.
Yeah, I will never let you do a thing unless I want you to.
Yeah, and trading up really heavily. Oh, the laser point. My favorite bit now is the laser pointer. This is so good. Look at that on the tabletop. That's thrilling. Absolutely huge fan of the laser pointer.
I'm always afraid. I always think it's a sniper. But it's just Eric. It's just Eric.
So, to keep you updated, Harlequins went first, and as you can see, we've got those 2 kind of L's packed in with units.
Yes.
And then we've got our transports in the center, and try and get you a little bit of a snapshot. Tom, if you could just get us what's in that center there, that'd be really cool.
And right now, we've got the Knight Crusader is trying to pick off one of the Star Weavers in Hamza's list. Hamza running 6 Star Weavers with 6 units of troops. And Eric really wants to blow those up before they start rushing across the board.
Yeah, I think he's going for that top one at the top one.
I believe it's this one right here.
Yeah, the silos.
He's
shooting across the way, so he's just left his little butt out. So he's going to be shot across. He's going to be shooting across that grate. That grate is going to be cover as well. Obviously, everything is ruins, and then that's going to be that's
dense.
That's dense. So it's going to be -1 to hit. We're shooting through it, which. I've been told, my friend Tom reliably informs me, and I wonder what you think, actually some of the better terrain that you can put down.
Yes.
Really effective.
Yeah, that -1 to hit comes into play so often, and you wouldn't think it. I've played on a lot of tables that have mismatched dense terrain, and it can really throw off a game. It's kind of the one thing where a lot of people don't think about it when they're trying to set up the terrain is dense and things like that.
Wow. We just heard that Eric rolling particularly well there. Hamza losing his weaver.
One of his Star Weavers, so the troops are popping out. I wonder if any were lost to the explosion. Do you think we can get secondaries up for these guys?
Sure, no problem, right now. So if we look at the secondaries, Hamza is running Psychic Interrogation, a deadly performance, and also behind enemy lines.
Psychic Interrogation is pretty aggressive here. So Psychic Interrogation is a secondary where I believe you have to be within 24 inches of your opponent's character. And then it's a psychic power that when you get it's an action, but it's a psychic power that when you get it off, you just score 3 victory points every time.
Wow.
So Hamza using his Shadow Seer, the one Shadow Seer he has, to start popping those off. That's 1 less psychic power that he's going to get to using every turn. Very aggressive play, but from what I've been told, and if you've ever seen Hamza in person, I know I describe Eric as a maniac. Hamza looks like a maniac. It's a dichotomy. Well, one of them looks like a maniac, but is actually the most peaceful individual. Eric is maniac on the inside, pure love and joy on the outside.
Okay, all right, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this. Oh, that was me. That was me the whole time.
That was you the whole time.
That was me the whole time. We will be getting updates from there is a Warhammer Fantasy 6th Edition tournament happening here, and we will be getting updates at some point. Don't worry, I promise it's happening. It's happening.
It does look like one of the troops were killed.
It does. Just the other ones. For Eric,
sure.
he's chosen Yield No Ground,
And
Honor of the House.
And so these are all Knights secondaries that he's gone with. Now, Honor the House, Knights have this special honor points rule where every turn, as long as they do not fall back from a battle, they kill a unit, etc., they gain honor points throughout the game. So for Eric, as long as he has 6 honor points, he's going to be scoring 2 victory points a game just by basically doing what he wants to do, which is kill these models and never run away. He also, if he can get up to Virtuous, that goes up to 3 points per turn. It's really big, and at the end of the game, he can get a large bonus. Renew the Oaths is, oh my goodness, and I never see anybody take Renew the Oaths, so I'm going to have to look it up. I'm really sorry, folks.
Do not worry. I think you're doing a great job there, Pete. Let's just take a moment to look at these lovely armies, as you can see on the tabletop, and just give you kind of a better idea of what exactly wears what. Classic kind of really interesting doing 40k coverage. So much you can't see because they're inside of a building, hiding out. But here you can see the kind of backboard for the Harlequin player, and you can see how much is hidden behind here. We've got those 2 units of 3 bikes. We've got a unit of 4 bikes, and a unit of 3 bikes, all hidden. We've got our 2 additional transports, a bunch of our troops, and we've even got our other little unit on the right-hand side here, hidden away. That's what we're seeing hidden, and is I think it's a good spot.
Now, Renew the Oaths, I've pulled it up. It is an action secondary done by the Knights. And what it is any knight that's within 6 inches of the center of the board can perform this action to score 3 victory points, 4 if it's one of his big boy knights. If he does it from the center objective, then it's an additional victory point on top of all that. So this is where we're going to see Eric planning on moving to the middle. Eric's main concern right now are these haywire bikes. He wants to take them down so they don't start picking off his Helverins.
I love this. This is like this version. Like the 2 games are so dichotomically different. Like this version has been like something we've seen repeated quite a few times, where there's this very angle shoot. I know that's a very specific 40k term, so I won't use that. But this kind of using the angles and the geometry of the board to specifically line up shots and not sacrifice anything for you, versus what we're seeing on table 1, where it's just, as we've seen in the new movement phase from Tyranids, I will murder you.
Yes.
I do not care about your angles. I do not.
Yeah.
None of that bothers me. I am running across the board. I'm getting into the fight. Let's go. And as you can see, that giant hive tyrant
is just motored on in, because like I was saying earlier, Francois, very much the Thanos of this event. He is inevitable. That's the only way he knows how to play. He's pushing these. He's just shoving models forward. He's keeping something on an objective, and his whole goal is I'm going to hem you in, and you're going to have to deal with it.
Oh boy.
Let's can we get a look at the scoring here? What did Francois score?
Sure, no problem.
On his turn
if it's
2?
updated, let's just keep
11 on primary, pretty big. So that means he did score 3 on the secret primary.
Surely it's going to be really hard for Tim to go up on the primary here, because he's going to be pushed back into his zone. I know Harlequins are mega fast.
Well, and that's the thing. That mega fast can come into effect if Francois lets him. If Francois leaves an opening, it's nothing for Tim to shove a Star Weaver up and then fire and fade and end up in his back line. And then he starts scoring behind enemy lines. And the thing about Francois, the way he's playing this game, he unless there's something hidden in here, he's got nothing in his backfield. He is inevitable. Everything is in the middle now, and his plan is to be here. That could work to Tim's advantage, with Tim deciding not to play the kill game, instead playing the I'm going to just continually run away and score points.
I think does Tim have the output? That's the kind of question with all those Tyranid warriors.
It's going to be hard for him. A big thing here with this Hive Tyrant out in the open is, does Tim decide to send his Troop Master in and try and take it down?
Okay, very interesting. So the one Troop Master can take down.
Master,
shut up, Pete.
He could do well. I mean, he fully rerolls to wound. His weapon is damage 3. He has a lot of attacks. It's not nothing, especially going into this transhuman list. If he chops that beast down or takes it down to a more acceptable number, then it's nothing for a troop unit to pop out, plunk a mortal wound or two with a neuro disruptor and change the game.
Yeah, so it's not impossible for them to take it down. That's quite funny, though. Like, I quite like 40k where these actual heroes are heroes, able to take out monsters in a single swipe. Makes me excited. Talking about a monster, or maybe a hero, the chat can be the judge. We're going to go over to our man in the field, Mr. Val Heffelfinger, and he's going to be letting us know what's happening at the rest of Capital City Bloodbath 2022. Over to you right now.
I know that guy.
Actually care about. This is the real event. This is Warhammer Fantasy Battles 6th edition. Yes, not even the most recent edition of a very dead game. We're playing 6th edition out here, folks. We got square bases, but we got a cool dude. Dan, what possessed you to run the greatest fantasy tournament of all time?
Pretty much just the love for the old fantasy game. Since COVID, spent time just planning out armies and eventually just wanted to get games, so I started contacting people and just getting people together. So it's been good.
You can see that your enthusiasm for fantasy is infectious. Like, I mean, just bubbling over with excitement. Why don't we just break down maybe some of these matchups? We've got 10 of the best 6th edition fantasy players.
The best are here. All the best from all Ontario.
Perhaps the world. Perhaps the world. So right now, this looks like we got some real action going on here. So what are we seeing?
So right here we have a dwarf army. They're just finishing up. But it's dwarves versus a Noblard horde, which is an army that had 450 models on the table. Just a horde of models. So they're wrapping up. I think they're just finishing up the last few rolls in the game. So it's a tight game. Tight game.
Has the Noblard guy with 400 models been called a knob for doing that?
Potentially, he may.
Okay, well, I think that's the update for now. We're maybe come back for the second round when that kicks off. Excellent. Next half hour, we will maybe just go down the row here a little bit. Thanks so much, Dan. We have a game called Age of Sigmar. It's sort of coming up still. It's not as popular as Warhammer Fantasy Battles 6th edition. We've got some other games. We saw Jason a minute ago. Oh, he's not here. He went away. I mean, this is all very good stuff. Mike Grove, the Grove thing. Mike, how's your game going?
Man, how can you go wrong with 10 units of 5 Boink Bounders? This is amazing. 2d6 all day, brother.
I mean, it sounds exciting. Rob approved in my ear of your list.
This is Vegas, right? You're rolling dice all day? I think.
It could be Vegas in like 4 months.
You're going to Vegas?
Of course I'm going to Vegas. Come on. All right, so there is one more thing. There is one more thing I think that needs to be touched upon here because it's one of the great institutions of the capital city Bloodbath here in Ottawa, Ontario. This is does anyone want to talk on the stream? Sure, yeah. This is the very sad, one of the organizers of the legendary Capital City Bloodbath garage sale. So a lot of the gamers will come in, they'll deposit their stuff over on Saturday. On Sunday, they blow an air horn, and everyone just gets into a fist fight for all the hot deals that are available. How's it been going so far today?
Pretty good. We sold a ton of stuff, still selling stuff, and people are welcome to come and check it out. Some of the sellers have already gone through and repriced some of their stuff, lowering the prices.
How's old SP doing? How's that tag? We moved any product yet?
Yeah, SP's moved quite a bit. Unfortunately, BL has sold quite a bit more stuff than him, but just keeping it moving.
Okay, well, SP might be my actual initials, guys. Little nugget for those people watching the stream, wondering who is this Val Heffelfinger, this man in a beautiful shirt. Now, this is actually a plan. He works at the garage sale, but we're going to pretend that he's actually just looking for deals. What do you see out here? You looking for some good deals?
Well, anything I don't have in my army yet, always looking for a great deal.
And what better place to find it?
Exactly. This is what I look forward to every year.
Every single year. Yours truly picked up a very large box of square-based wood elves. Yes, that's right, the tree-dwelling elves of yore. I think we're probably about ready to go hang out with Rob again in the you know what? Actually, why don't we just get a coffee? We can all get a coffee together. This is the. Oh, okay. So I'll do that myself. Barely chat. Not as interested in watching me get a coffee. So I want to thank you all for this little tour. we'll get a fantasy update soon. And I guess now we'll hopefully get our viewers back because we're going to watch in 40K.
Thank you very much for that enlightening trip to 6th edition Warhammer Fantasy Battles.
Oh, yes. The golden age, as some of the slower people would call it.
Yes. A Renaissance time. I know for a fact that a lot of people are in the modern world looking back to the past to repasteurize their own milk, grow their own vegetables, and it truly is a time for 6th edition to really make its mark in the world.
Yes, for sure.
Make its mark in the world.
But you know who's making a mark on the world right now?
Tell me.
Francois Lalonde.
Francois Lalonde.
So
okay.
So we've moved into Francois. People are now getting a little upset about this for some reason. It blows my mind. Francois' charge phase here. What we've seen is this unit of Tyranid warriors has wrapped up this one boat as this one Star Weaver as best they can. Francois, he shoved his Hive Tyrant up. He was planning on charging a Star Weaver here and a Shadow Seer here with the warriors and with the Hive Tyrant. Tim had to make a decision on who he was going to save. He chose to save the Star Weaver. He feels like his Star Weaver and troops are more important than the Shadow Seer, and so he used that stratagem to, when a charge is declared against you, to move 6 inches away. Moved away, the warriors failed their charge, and Francois then ate the Shadow Seer and then used his ability to move after killing a unit to march the way back.
Is he unable to be seen now?
This wing is sticking out pretty heavy, so I'm sure if Tim really wanted to get an angle, he could, but the angles are very limited.
But most importantly, he's behind the screen of the warriors.
And I believe there's Tyrant Guard in this block as well, so they have the bodyguard rule, so he's pretty tightly secured.
Wow, I love that.
Now, in those back ruins, there is very little. There is just, I believe, a Neurothrope, a single warrior, and a Biovore, I want to say, that are just hiding out in those ruins and nothing else. So if Tim does manage to get down here, we've already cut to the scene.
Oh, sorry.
As you can see, no, it's okay. It's better to see what's actually in there. He would have free reign in that backfield because there's not a lot defending it other than this this one little beastie boy who can come, but he is on foot. So if we go back to the top, all of these Tyranid warriors, with all of their bone swords, decided to not kill that Star Weaver. They were just like, you know what, we feel like we enjoy his presence. This is really good for Tim because otherwise the troops that were falling out of that would have been in real bad shape. This is going to let him kind of fall back if he chooses to and cause more chaos. It'll be interesting to see what he decides to do with it. Francois is playing some kind of ability. I'm wondering if we can find out from Rick what that is. What's going on here now? Have we moved to Tim's side of the table? I believe we have. Oh, gotcha. So Francois was just looking to find out where Catalyst was because he had forgotten if he'd cast it or not. So we're moving into Tim's movement phase, and we're now seeing the troops come out to play. The Star Weaver here does have just a Death Jester in it that can put some pain deep into the field if he needs to. Yeah, so this is what I kind of suspected we would see from Tim now that Francois has committed to that center board. He's going to start playing these units up right into the middle, and I would not be surprised if he does some drive-bys and tries to fly as far as he can downfield and force Francois to make a decision to move away. We're going to see a lot of Tyranid warriors die here. I wouldn't be shocked. This feels like Tim's big play to slow the roll of this inevitable tide.
He's just going to try and murder as much as?
I'm not quite sure because he didn't disgorge his troops here. He's just moving these Star Weavers up. I believe this is more to plunk wounds and give himself options. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some drive-bys where we see units, where we see a fire and fade off something. We see some units pile out and just head downfield, make Francois decide if he needs to turn around or not, and play that kind of game because Tim needs to start scoring deadly performance, so he needs to be getting on objectives, and we're seeing it now. We're seeing this I believe this
I mean,
is
like,
his one unit of bikes.
Look at the speed. Yeah,
Fly
like
all the way down here.
They're just so effective, right? Like when you do throw that whole army forward, like it's very tough to then defend your back objectives in that way.
Not losing this this Starweaver is really good for Tim. It gives him so many options. He can pile the troops out now and try to deal with some warriors, or he can just fly away and create another issue for Francois. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's choosing to fall back, and he's gonna. He's just trying to pick his place, right?
Oh, love that. Yeah, look at that. Look at the motion and the speed. Like he's able to be everywhere. So
Harlequins are fun, yeah. So he's able, like you said, they're able to be everywhere. And Francois, the one thing these Tyranid warriors aren't the best at is splitting attacks. If you're forcing these decisions, if Francois decides to do a multi-charge and he doesn't kill everything because he mismanages his attacks or whatnot, like it's just another win for Tim because he can just easily fall back from that combat, hop on objectives, create more chaos. And like there is nothing more narratively satisfying than watching a Harlequin player just cause chaos, because that's what they do, right? That's their whole shtick in the lore. It's performance art at its finest.
It's very finest, which weird. It's being pushed forward by Tim, who is it seems a very calm and relaxed. Maybe the laughter is all on the inside.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you've ever spoken to Tim, he speaks at about 3 decibels, so it's very hard to hear. Generally, only foxes and goats are able to understand what he's saying. But yeah, so we're going to see this movement play out. We're going to see Tim go for the gold. He's trying to get these deadly performance points. He's going to put himself in a position where he could easily score a 12 next turn if Francois doesn't do anything about it.
Francois is going to try and do something about it.
I mean, he will. There's a lot of Tyranid warriors in the middle of the board.
Yeah, and there are a lot of units very close and very available. I really like that for Francois personally.
I think Francois really wanted to kill a little bit more than he did. Not that one Starweaver not dying is an annoyance for sure.
That looks like an amazing fight. That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be really good. Okay, I love that.
Let's cut over to the other table and see what's going on.
So table 2, we're now into Hamza is into his shooting phase. So this is Harlequin's turn 2. Turn 1, they moved very defensively into kind of the middle point on the left between the 2 L's, and now with a bunch of units in those L's. And now we've seen them explode and unpack their army in a very effective way. We've seen some Skyweavers at the top with boats at the top, boats at the bottom, and they've still taken that center ground as well. And now they're going to be putting all of those threats into those knights. And it's kind of makes sense because they already lost themselves a boat last turn.
Yep.
I feel like that there's enough angles that the knights can keep shooting them at long range,
yes,
right?
Hamza does need to do something. He needs to clear out at least some of these little armigers. If we could get somebody to point out which Helverin has the bondsman's helm, or the bastard's helm, that would be really cool to hear. What we're seeing right now, I know Hamza was trying to find out which of the knights had the 4+ invuln. Okay, so we're going to get a close up on the bastard helm. I believe it's this guy right here.
There he is.
There he is. So this is a tech piece that Eric wants to keep protected, and so he has kept him well.
So what does it do?
The bastard helm is, I've talked about it a few times, +1 to wound on all of an armiger's attacks, and he can give that to an additional armiger in the list. So he's got a Helverin here, and I believe his other Helverin is hiding behind his Crusader. So it gives him these 2 major threats to Hamza. They're going to pop Starweavers pretty easily once they come out to play.
Because the armigers also, the +1 to wounds are kind of really interesting factor because it's just mathematically way better than +1 strength.
Oh yeah, in almost in every situation, it's either going to be equal to or better to top that. We did see one of the armigers explode.
That makes sense.
I mean, yeah.
They feel like Harlequin fodder, like them or even a knight. Like I would say that it feels like Harlequins into knights always feels like it's kind of in Harlequin's favor because they can bring a lot to bear, especially on the right board.
Yes, and with the haywire cannons on these Skyweavers, it's always something that the knight player needs to be worried about because if they start popping 4+s on their to wound rolls, those are mortal wounds that are generally going to go through. And Eric here, he's not running House Tyranids, which is kind of the favorite thing. He's running Raven, so he doesn't get that feel no pain. I've just been told that the bikes completely, the Skyweavers completely flubbed on their shots, so no mortals going in onto Eric's Warlord, which is the knight up here. Good news for Eric. He wants to keep him as full as possible. Bad news for Hamza, because if this Knight Errant is on full duty next turn, he's going to do some damage.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Like he's going to need to keep him up, right? Like that's going to be so important. It's really wild looking at like this game versus the other game. Just again comparisons between the kind of like the push out from the Harlequins on table 2 and then attacking into the castle where it can versus the enveloping that has happened from Tim with his Harlequin force against those Tyranids. Those Tyranids had no choice but to move into the center, right?
Yes.
And then the enveloping the Harlequins. It really shows you how Harlequins can project power.
And not just how well they can project power, but how well they handle their role in a game, which is, given that their whole shtick is being pivotal roles. There's this kind of concept in strategy games like Magic the Gathering or like Warhammer. They used to call it "Who is the beatdown?" When you go to a table, when you're playing against a game, what is my role and at what point am I, on the offensive or the defensive? Brandon Grant often calls it "Who has the initiative?" But who is the one pushing forward? And we see here in this game, the beatdown is definitely Francois. He's set himself in this midboard. Tim has to be reactive.
He does.
But Harlequins can so easily whip that around. He's now flipped it so that he's got all of this surrounded board table. He's on every objective other than the middle. Francois is now going to have to make a lot of decisions on his turn. We're seeing he's picking up Tyranid warriors. A few of them have been dropped from this green squad for sure. This game is one where if you just looked at the table at the end of the Tyranid turn 2, you would have said, what are the Harlequins going to do? Even I had to think about it quite heavily. But that's just the game the Harlequin plays. And then if we cut back over to the other table.
Table 2.
Like the Harlequins are the beatdown, right? They have pushed themselves up. They're saying this is the only way that I'm going to be playing.
They're also forcing the interaction.
Exactly.
Tyranids were forcing the interaction last time. In this situation, Harlequins.
It's the Harlequins.
Yeah.
Now, the big thing about the Knights is they're big boys. They don't take a beatdown too easily. And Harlequins can adjust quickly to an evolving battle space. That's exactly what we're trying to get across here. It's going to be interesting.
What's always really interesting for me, and what separates the kind of the mid-table players versus the top-end players, is their ability to understand at deployment or even before deployment. They understand the pace, the tempo, who's the beatdown. They understand how that game is going to play out.
Yes.
And what's really interesting is when both players understand this, which I think in our game specifically probably between all 4 players actually.
Yes.
But if we just talk about the game on table 1 for a little moment, is I think Tim and Francois both understand exactly how their armies are meant to play into each other, and now it's about producing those very best interactions under that frame.
Exactly, you 100%. For Tim, this is about how do I effectively trade up, and how do I force Francois into making decisions, right? Because when Francois is allowed to just push forward, he's not making a decision. He's just my only decision is I'm going to move forward, and nothing else matters. When you have to circle around, when you have to do these things, when you encircle him like this, now he's got to think. He's got to say, like, what is my target priority? Do I care about this 2-wound guy sitting behind me, or do I keep pushing forward and try to kill the majority, force Tim to make decisions on his own, right? Because he can only save 1 unit at a time.
Yeah, so hopefully during this shooting phase we'll get some updates on what is being shot into and what's dying. That would be cool.
Yeah, I know that they're
on
scoring table 2 right now. As soon as they're done scoring table 2, I'm sure Richard will come back over and give us an idea of what's happening there.
But just because it's nice to know through the shooting phase, right?
For sure.
What's going down, because this is I think there's going to be a lot that goes down now. And I'm hoping we see some big plays. I don't think we're going to see anything shooting into the big monster in the center.
No, that's not Tim's priority here.
So I think we've seen some Tyranid warriors lifted off there in the kind of the
Tim
bottom.
would be very happy if this green warrior squad disappeared or is neutered to the point where he doesn't have to deal with it any longer, and then all he has to deal with is this big blob. Not taking any of his troops out of the transports is big for him because, as Tim saw in the last round, Francois struggled to pop any of the boats. There were a couple boats out in the open. Francois didn't. I don't believe he blew up a single one. He brought one down to 1 wound or 2 wounds, and was able to run away.
Honestly, Pete, Tim's a WTC player, so he knows 40k better than me. Yeah, in no way do I think I'm second guessing him. But I'm just terrified right now. I see him putting all these shots in. This is why I want to know where we're at in the shooting phase. Is he just finished? He just started? I'm hoping I see a lot more Tyranid warriors go down because I feel like I see 8 there's some very close charges for
Yes.
most of the Tyranid force. Thank you. So there's 2 Skyweavers left.
There's 1 unit of Skyweavers left, and one. He said bike, but I believe he meant one more boat.
Yeah.
Left to shoot.
Because isn't that a lot of charges that's going to just take, like, those Skyweavers go down easy? Is it because you kill the transports, the next turn, the troops murder the warriors back?
Exactly.
Is that the trick?
And that's what Tim's banking on.
Okay.
As a Blood Angels player for a bajillion years, my struggle is always when there's too many transports on the board. And while these Tyranid warriors do have like vastly superior firepower to most armies that are this close combat oriented, Francois is going to struggle to pop enough boats for this to matter. He can easily drop this one that's down on 2 wounds. He's going to be struggling into these full wound boys up here, which is going to play into Tim's strategy.
Okay, exciting. So I think, did we just hit we're going into his turn 2? Is that what we're going into now? Because surely we've got some charges coming in. Oh, scoring's updated on table 2. Okay, let's just take a quick moment to look over into 2. Look at the scorecard just so you can see.
27-24.
Oh, 3 points, Hamza Arik. Come on. This is going to be a close one, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But with some pivotal moments, right? Because as we saw at the end of Hamza's turn, there is a 2 big knights still on the board. I'd like to know if the bike, the knight at kind of the top, not near the brick, has taken any wounds. Looks like he's got some wounds on his track. But surely, if he could bracket him, that will help him a bit.
It would. I'm curious if the big knights, if he even shot into the big. I know he tried to shoot into the big knights and flubbed with the first unit of Skyweavers. That may have been the tip for Hamza to say, you know what, I'm just going to focus on killing at least 1, if not 2, of the Helverin the close combat armigers, because I'm in his face now. I need to clear off some of these these chain axes before they hit me in the mouth.
Okay, well, talking about being hit in the mouth, if you want a mouth to hit you in the face, there's no one better than Mr. That is weird. There's no one better than Mr. Val Heffelfinger. Segues are kind of my thing.
Segues are your thing. I love it.
Thank you. We're over to Mr. Val Heffelfinger in the field. He's going to let us know what's happening at the rest of this amazing Capital City Bloodbath 2022.
Thank you very much, Rob. I'm here with some breaking news down here at Table 9, or 9, as one of the players here would say. Max Dubois, the story is Max Dubois is on Table 9. I mean, this is very close to the top of the tournament. What does it feel like to be on Table 9?
I still don't believe it myself.
It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Chat's going wild. Chat's going wild.
You speak French and then you translate, but you make up whatever you want.
I mean, we don't have to explain the bit.
Ah, parfait, j'adore ça. Écoutez,
Yogurt is delicious.
grand fan de tout ce qui se passe, grand fan du coverage. Écoutez, l'événement est incroyable. L'événement est incroyable.
Fantasy Battles was the best game, specifically 6th edition. I would love more updates later. Congratulations, Max. Don't fly too close to the sun. All right, so, but in more serious talk, when we go up here, we're going to see some fine gentlemen here, but we have Cooch Canada. Actually, we have 2. In fact, the last 2 coaches of Canada, we're going to say that. We're missing one of them. How's the game going, Jeremy?
Ask me after his shooting phase.
Conrad, this is the first time everyone's seeing your face. How's the shooting phase going?
I haven't started yet. I'm doing psychic right now, but
If you had to guess, how's it going to go?
hopefully good, because otherwise.
No confidence there. Coach Conrad feeling shaky. We got Zach, we got Dusty over here doing their best. Zach, beautiful army as always. Big fanboy of your Tau back in the day. And if anyone wants to, because I'm going to hand this back to the desk, if anyone's interested in the score on Table 3, it is updated in the exclamation point lists doc. But we're just going to give them a little space. We're going to let them breathe. Not going to shove cameras in their face. And we're going to go over to the one, the only, the Rufio, the Roberto.
They are so quick. Hello, welcome back. Welcome back to these exciting games. Okay, I'm going to catch everyone up. Capital City Bloodbath 2022, 2 games. You can type exclamation mark list in the chat. You can type exclamation mark event, follow it on BCP. There's also Also, !other games if you want to go and check out exactly what's happening in our third undefeated match. We've got 6 people currently undefeated here out of 120 people. The match we're not seeing is the gorgeous Big Papa Blood Angels body bag.
Sam Prosciutto, Sam Procopio.
Sam Procopio. He's up against the salt miner himself, Chris Soul.
Chris White.
Oh, damn.
White? Chris Pine? I think he was in Star Trek.
Yeah, that guy.
Anyway, Chris Rice.
Rice. Okay. Oh, I did not know that.
So we're getting fingers pointed at us. I don't know
table
if they're middle ones.
Table 2.
Telling us to cut to table 2.
We're cutting to table 2.
Okay.
It looks like the Knights are out. The Knights are out. We're
on the
night
shooting phase. We've seen Eric has pushed forward, trying to get towards that 6 inches of the middle so he can start scoring his secondaries. But yeah, this is where the damage is going to come. I will talk briefly about table 1 just because I did run over and speak to Francois and Tim very briefly here.
Yeah, so let's just catch everyone up really quickly. Tyranids moved in the mid-board, turn 1. The Harlequins kind of like moved up defensively. Then so Harlequins up defensively, Tyranids in the mid-board, nothing really changed hands. And then
Tyranids went in batshit bananas. Started striking out at everything, killed a Shadow Seer.
That was turn 2.
But shockingly, left 2 of the Starweavers on 1 and 2 wounds respectively, which Francois said was a big mistake. He should have focus fired 1 down at the very least, but he split his attacks, leaving those 2 on 1 wound. He knew he was going to take a huge clapback. That's why we saw Tim get extra aggressive, because now he has all these troops in open top boats that can fire. That he didn't plan on having before. Francois has lost, I believe, 15 of his Tyranid warriors.
15.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
wait, of 27 initially?
I believe it was it was around. It was 25. I believe he had.
That is huge.
So he's basically just got 3 left from this one big squad down here, and then he's got another full squad of 9. But he lost a whole squad of 9. That one of the big squads up here, and he lost over half of this squad. So that was bad news for Francois. Tim's loving it. Tim then made a very awkward charge to stay on this objective and kill the little biovore that was hanging out here because he's going to start scoring behind enemy lines.
He's going to be really happy about that.
Tim is super excited. There was a little bit of talk as to if Tim was capable of staying on the objective and doing it. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like he was able to touch it. So anyway, yeah, so that's what we got going on table 2. It was a big swing for the Harlequins player. This is exactly what Tim needed. Let's cut back to the other table and see what's going on with this shooting.
Very exciting, very exciting. So just to catch you up with exactly how Hamza and Eric's game has gone here. Hamza in the first turn with his Harlequin force on the left of the screen, moved defensively onto the left-hand side, obviously covered in those L's and protected by the center bark. Then the Knights popped their little heads out. We popped a Starweaver, which is kind of at the very top left-hand corner. Was it transport? Yeah. And then we saw the Harlequins then really envelop on their second turn. We saw them push up into the top left, push into bottom left, bottom right, where we can kind of see them now, and also take the center. And we also saw them take out a single armiger from the list, which I think was a bit disappointing in the output that they wanted. Now we're seeing the Knights move out from their defensive
and do their clap back.
And they're going to clap back. And
I don't know if you guys have been watching that dice tray as Rob's been talking. A lot of ones coming from that very, very white Eric hand.
Yeah, Eric's not doing well here, and this is it's quite interesting to see how pivotal these moments are. There's very 0-1 interactions in 40k. It seems, where you pop your head out and now is my time, and if you bounce off, then that's pretty much game over. That's your one opportunity, which you can definitely see why. Which again was fascinating in our Orcs versus Blood Angels game, where.
So we have seen one Starweaver finally pop. Eric not happy because he was kind of hoping to pop 2 by now. He's put probably 4 of his armigers into these boats for this one boat at the top that only had 2 wounds remaining to begin with before it finally exploded, which is amazing for Hamza. Hamza has to be loving this. Have the big Knights gotten their chance to play yet, Dickie? Do we know that? Have they had their shots? Or has this all been
let us know what shoot and where would be great. Thank you. Massive shout out to our man in the field, Dickie, getting us all the hot goss. We just want to know which units are shooting which. Yeah. We're so excited to know about that. Thanks everyone in the chat for joining us live. Hope you're all enjoying it. Don't forget there is going to be a sixth round, later today to decide who is the winner. I mean, a big event in the Canadian A tent pole, that's not right. That's not the warehouse, not sure of it. Circus. It's a big event, a marquee event.
Yes.
There we go.
There
That's
you got
what
it. You nailed it.
That's what I was getting towards.
You nailed
I
it.
put some synapses together. So a big marquee event for 40K here, and many members of the WTC team playing here as well.
Yes, many. I mean, and they just landed from They basically landed from Belgium, got off the plane, and walked here to the EY Center. Some of them walking all the way across Canada in order to accomplish this. But we are a very small country. It's very easy to accomplish.
Tim kind of looks like Harry Henderson. I'm not going to lie.
Tim looks like he sleeps on a houseboat, but a very small skiff.
So we know that there are 3 nights left to shoot for this Imperial Night Force, which is House Tyranids?
House Raven.
House Raven. What does that get me?
So House Raven is a very fast-moving house. Their big thing is they can basically treat all their weapons as assault, and they don't suffer penalty to shooting assault weapons if they advance. So he can advance and shoot basically all of his guns willy-nilly. It gives him a little bit of a speed advantage over other houses. Still being a Mechanicum house, he does gain a few other benefits, like he heals a wound on all his knights every turn, which can be key when he's playing against armies that like to try to plink things off. Yeah, so we're Eric really wanting to kill like 3 or 4 of these boats. I feel like he's only going to get 2 because of how poorly he's rolled. In an ideal world, Eric thought he'd pop every single boat that was in front of him. So.
Okay, so he's thinking about re-rolling the damage, particularly.
So he needs another boat to die. He really He can't have these. He can't have these boats flying in behind him and causing him even more grief. Because that's all Hamza has to do. He can run back here onto an objective and then basically put everything else behind Eric, and then Eric's in a bad position because his list is built around always moving forward, right?
Always.
And because he needs to be scoring those center objectives and. So
okay, so the Crusader's still to shoot.
Crusader is going for it. I assume this means he's going to be splitting fire to try and take out 2 boats.
No.
Okay, so he's using calculated targeting.
This is great, Rich.
This is the big stratagem for Mechanicum Knights. This any 6s to wound that he rolls, the weapon will do mortal wounds instead of regular wounds.
Okay.
For all of its damage. Now he's not House Tyrannus, so he cannot turn a wound into a 6. But he's got a lot of shots on this Crusader. So
a lot of shots.
He can pump out a lot of damage. Splitting fire here. His hope is that he's going to pick up a lot. And, given how poorly he rolled with all of his armigers.
Especially interesting based on how we saw the War Dogs do yesterday, because the War Dogs yesterday were crazy.
Yeah.
They did some really good output. So a bit swingy.
So I think Eric's hoping that, the way probability works, I've rolled a lot of 1s. Chances are now I'm going to roll my 6s, right? Because that's how probability works.
That's how probability works.
Anybody that's played Warhammer knows when you roll a lot of 1s, soon you'll roll a lot of 6s.
Yeah.
Eric's saying, you know what? The gods have been against me so far. I'm going to call upon all of the luck that you have stolen from me, Harlequins, and I'm going to use it against you.
I'm in love with these Armiger War Dog builds.
I love it.
They're very good. They kind of remind me of Dreadnought builds, but not as confusing.
Exactly.
Not as complicated, not as difficult to put together.
Yeah, they don't have a million different things on them. Okay, so we're seeing him. He's going to put his big gun into the bikes. He's putting all of his small fire into these 2 boats. And then he's got the battle cannon, which I'm assuming is going into the middle of the board, because he does have an angle here where he can shoot into the things here.
Okay, so this is our big knight at the top.
I believe this is the bottom big knight, but I could be mistaken.
Near the brick, or is the one out in the midfield? Just double check.
Yeah, that's a good question. I believe it's this guy here. Sorry. Okay, so the flamer kills the
which
boat.
means it has to be this guy at the bottom, right?
Yeah. So so it's this guy here at the bottom. This is his Crusader, if I'm not mistaken. So he puts a flamer in.
That's already good for him. That's already good for him.
That boat was only on 1 wound, but it should have been dead long ago. So it's good for him to clear that. Now he's got some. Is this the Gatling cannon we have shooting right now? It seems like enough dice to be the Gatling cannon. Could it be just a Stubbers if he rolled heavy? And 1/6.
Is this from the Gatling cannon?
This has to be the Gatling cannon.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, and then this is going to go into this is a devastating turn, It'll be interesting
Those
to see.
were a lot of 4-ups, though, and those Harlequin Invuln's coming in handy.
they've got a 4-up invulnerable save, which is
now
there we go.
the mortal wounds from
Great shot,
calculated
Tom.
targeting.
Great work.
He did pick up 4 of those troops because 2 of those damage from the Gatling cannon would have been mortals. But still, Hamza with 1 troop surviving there. And then I guess it's the battle cannon now. Oh, so that was just the stubbers that he fired.
Just the stubbers. So we've
he
still got the
still-
battle cannon and we've still got the Gatling gun at
There
the
we go.
same time. Okay.
So where's the battle cannon going into, guys?
This is going to be interesting.
Okay.
To the boat.
That was not what Eric wanted, a bunch of 2s and 1s.
No, it was not. It was not. He's, like we said, he's split fire. He needs to take out as many of these vehicles as possible, reduce the mobility of the Harlequins down, make it so they can't
100%.
move across. Oh, here we go.
This is the Gatling cannon for
there
sure.
we go, definitely. Okay, there's a lot of misses as well, though.
A lot of misses, but so, like that intrinsic -1 that he's probably going into right now, not helping him. Still, decent roll. Any 6s? 1 6?
No. Only 3 wounds. That
3
was
wounds, but 1 is
2 wounds. They've both been saved. The whole Gatling cannon did nothing.
Would have done 2 mortal wounds, I believe.
Okay.
That's it, though.
But like, he's got to be pretty gutted about that.
Yeah, Eric's a little sad. Little sad. Yeah, they're making fun of the fact that the stubbers killed more things than the Gatling cannon did. And then I guess there's just the battle cannon left, or was that what the flub roll earlier? Where I saw a lot. Yeah, so the battle cannon did no damage.
Oh no! The Crusader, we bigged it up. He had all the shots.
He had all the shots.
He
he
literally hasn't got
targeting.
arms. His arms are guns.
His arms are guns.
And it turns out he's armless in both ways.
He's never been able to eat a sandwich. He's never been
he's
able
armless in all the ways. No.
to touch a lover.
Oh my goodness!
And now he can't even kill things.
That's heartbreaking. So that's the Crusader. To be fair, though, if you look, there's a giant brick in front of him. He can barely see.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. So the Crusader is going to charge the Skyweavers here for sure. He has to clear out something.
Surely he's going to charge everything in now.
Well, yeah. I can't. I imagine this Armiger is going to go into these bikes. This big guy, I imagine he'll go into the middle. We'll see these little guys kind of try to take out this circle here. Yeah, so this Armiger is going into the remaining troops up here. Okay, so Hamza's using his strat to flee these troops away.
Run!
Good for him. He gets to keep his fusion pistols alive to put even more damage on these Armigers next turn.
I would just keep trying to bomb the charges, though. Like I would, charge each unit every time.
Yeah, so we're getting that this is now like an 11-inch charge for Eric, but there's no reason not to.
Absolutely roll it every time.
He is trying to measure to see if it's closer.
That's the nice thing about this version of 40k, that it's not every unit's also going to overwatch you every time you try to charge.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's really nice. I like that a lot. He has a charge into the Troop Master.
Hamza pulling that does leave the Troop Master out in the open. The Troop Master, though, no slouch.
But does he have Strike Last on him?
I don't believe he has Strike Last on either of his Troop Masters, but it's a bit of a close combat monster. Both of them are.
Okay, so he's rolled a 3, so that's not happening.
So who cares? Get out of here,
But
Eric.
just keep rolling. I would even, because wait, I don't know what his explode strat is, but like, my goodness, like throw the Armiger in, explode all over everything.
Just
like
live your best life.
Charge anything in, and if it dies, just explode mortal wounds all over those bad boys. That would be kind of my strategy. I learned that off my friend Nick. Nick does that a lot with his Necron army, especially with his Ghost Arcs. Like he's consistently just yeeting them at things to get them exploded, which I think is a crafty trick personally. And I would like to see that.
So we've got some easy charges here coming now. He's leaving the Troop Master alone. He's gonna see how his Armigers go, and then he'll decide where the big boy wants to dance.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic, lovely game. I'm really excited to see how this kind of pans out. Just jump back to table 1 to kind of see how the Tyranids have started to unpack in their turn. So now we're into Tyranids turn 3.
No, I believe we're still on Tim. Tim is still doing charges in close combat.
We're still in Harlequins in. No, this is Harlequin.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So can we get an update on points? Because it's obviously not been updated here.
Okay, so we'll just get an update on points. But what we know has happened, so in the previous turn, we saw the Harlequins. Well, the first turn, Harlequins moved out a little bit conservatively, and then we saw. we saw the Tyranids move into the
Push
mid board.
into the middle board.
The Harlequins were like, I'm not playing with you. And then the Tyranids went crazy on turn 2, yeeted themselves in. The Harlequins enveloped them in a kind of circle around the centerpiece. And then now we're seeing the Tyranids fight back. Tyranids losing 15 of 25
15 of their 25 warriors, yeah. The big oopsie, really, and some of it was dice, some of it was just splitting attacks, was Francois hit 2 of the Star Weavers, brought them both down to 1 and 2 wounds respectively. He definitely put in enough output that they should have died, but, you know, a 4+ invuln save is a 4+ invuln save, and sometimes it works for you. So Tim was able to go full aggressive when he normally wouldn't have been capable of doing so. Popping 15 Tyranid warriors. Francois not feeling the best about that, but he's not in a losing situation still. The big thing here is in this combat phase for Francois, he needs to take out these boats. He needs to get these troops on their feet so that he can deal with them. Now, it doesn't look like he killed. I think he killed 1 boat in shooting, because there's still 4 of them remaining. Maybe 2. No, he had to have killed 2 because Tim started with 6.
Yeah.
So it's probably the 2 that were already low.
And that's not bad.
It's not terrible, but he should have done a lot more damage than
well,
this.
the thing we talked about earlier is every time you kill the boat, there's going to be a unit in it which is going to fight back just as well. And based on how many resources Francois lost in the turn previous,
it's not like he needed those boats to die so that instead of eating the harsh metal on the outside, he was eating the tender clowns on the inside.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've ever eaten a clown; they're delicious.
Only an insane clown posse member at a party once.
Okay, well,
but
that's
weird. That is weird.
Why did I take us there?
I don't know.
Why did you go with it?
I don't know.
Rob,
but it's the Tyranids. The hunger has driven me. However, as you can see, they wanted to pop the actual meaty transport as opposed to the units inside, and we haven't got there. So it's going to be interesting to slap back, because I think both armies are going to end up with pretty light resources going into turn 4.
I am curious as to what the Harlequin score is right now. We've seen Francois' score updated to a 50. I cannot believe that the Harlequins are still on 12.
Yeah.
There's Dicky is saying that he was shut out on his turn 2.
We'll get that double checked. Oh wow. Okay. He says that's right.
I mean, he killed enough that he had to have gotten a deadly performance score. That's why I'm curious. He might have gotten the 0 on that, but I feel like deadly performance should have been at least a 3.
We're going to get that checked out.
Okay, he was shut out in turn 2. That's big for Francois. Despite all the damage he took, he managed to hold him off objectives. That's huge.
Wow. Okay, that's absolutely... that is monstrous. That's a 50-12 score currently.
And Francois still maxing out that 15 on primary.
Wow. I feel like that dominant ball position early in turn 1 really helped him gain a lot of those points. That's pretty big. Oh, boy. Okay, I love that. That's pretty good. Tim's got... Let's listen into the players and see how they feel about it.
Yeah, do it right away to not forget, but
okay. Sure. Yes. So why did you get 6 for the first one? Oh.
Well, we're back. Yeah. Okay.
So looks like we're having issues with Frank's mic. Tim's appears to be valid, but Francois has decided to destroy all technology in a small radius around him. He is a living embodiment of an EMP.
As long as there's a green light on his microphone, then it should be all good.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll find out later. Maybe he just puts the mic behind his ear when he's talking. But yeah, what we said, the Hive Tyrant killed the second of Tim's Shadow Seers. That's really good for Francois. I believe if we cut back to secondaries, what did Tim take? Warp Ritual? Can we take a quick look?
Yeah, sure,
there?
no problem. Let's take a look at the secondaries to remind everyone.
He had taken Warp Ritual, so that's real big for Francois. Oh no, Francois took Warp Ritual. Never mind. No one cares. Let's go back. It's good for Francois because now he's got free reign on Warp Ritual.
Well, let's just remind everyone. Francois has got Raise the Banners High, Cranial Feasting, Warp Ritual. Tim, Deadly Performance, Behind Enemy Lines, and Retrieve Niflheim Data. But as we've seen, he's been blocked out on primaries and scoring hard and scoring super low on secondaries at the minute. So he's really got to make a comeback now.
Yeah.
And I saw him really cracking, like working out the points yesterday. He knew how many points he thought he was going to get from that game. Very much a kind of like a WTC mindset. I know what I could get from these games. I wonder if this is what he knows, and he isn't losing a lot of resources. No. Maybe his plan is to get eaten up here. Next turn, he's going to delete most of the Tyranid force, score through the next few turns.
That's what he's going to have to try to play for. Now, what we're seeing here is this last block of Tyranid warriors, the block of 9 that's basically been untouched, is going to try to kill these 3 bikes. And we're seeing that probably about 8 or 9 wounds have gone through. 1, 2, only 3 wounds succeed, so that's 1.5 bikes killed. That's real good for Tim, but I think there's more attacks to come in because those are dual bone sword big boys, and I might be wrong. Francois, the way Francois is holding himself, that's a sad Francois hold. Like if you look at his posture, that's that slight arch, that almost hump on his back. That's what he does when he realizes that luck has gone against him.
Oh boy! So he hasn't even killed the boat. That's going to be pretty sad. Tyranid warriors, how do we rate as melee units?
They're amazing. These Tyranid warriors, as Leviathan, with the buffs that he's given them, they're strength 8.
Oh, wow.
2 damage flat, and I believe they're 4 or 5 attacks each.
That's crazy.
So they're not a cheap unit either. But as Leviathan. So we're seeing another set of attacks here.
Going into the Skyweavers on the right-hand side.
This should kill them.
Not Skyweavers, sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to get these deleted maybe.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, they're gone. Yeah, that's unfortunate for them.
But both boats looking like they're still surviving on 1 and 2 wounds apiece.
No way, that's huge. That gives mobility because the units can still get out of the transports, charge in, do their fighting, and then you've just got these super fast, very difficult to get transports that are going to go score objectives.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see if maybe there were a couple split attacks that we haven't seen yet. With them being on such few wounds, it's possible Francois left 1 warrior to hit a boat, but I'm not seeing anything being picked up, which could be good.
Yeah,
this is okay. So 1 of the boats was killed.
Okay, all right, good.
And but the whole trooper unit does get to pop out.
The Hive Tyrant doing that thing again. It kills something and moves away.
Yeah.
Wow, that central piece of terrain becoming an incredibly dominant piece for that Hive Tyrant. Charges out, fights, murders something, flies back.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a very controlling range. Don't know if there are any wounds on the Hive Tyrant at the minute.
I don't believe there is.
Wow.
I would question as to whether the troop. I know that both Shadow Seers are dead. Is the Troop Master still alive? I'd have to assume so.
We'll find out in a moment.
Let's cut back to the other table.
Yeah,
and see what's
that's what I was about to think.
Oh boy!
Oh boy!
Oh boy! Close combat worked really well for the Knights. We can see there's 2 boats remaining now.
There's a bike in the center, and then at the top left-hand corner, as you can see, Pete. I'm going to say it now. I am moments away from becoming a Knight player.
Are you?
Yeah. Absolutely. Especially the War Dog build I saw yesterday. And Eric has really got me kind of in the zone. 2 big boys, a bunch of little boys. I don't think it sets the world on fire. Don't get me wrong.
No,
but I think
fun.
It's fun. I think you have a lot of options, and also into even something as dynamic as Harlequins. It's oppressive in its utility to survive.
Yes.
And I like that because even if you're playing at a mid-level. You're well, do you know what? I'm just going to push this around and shoot some stuff.
So, Rob, let me tell you about our Lord and Savior Abaddon.
Oh, baby. Tell me about that guy.
So, Abaddon is perfect in any list. Do you play Harlequins? Put Abaddon in your list. Do you play Knights? Put Abaddon in your list. I know some of those lists are illegal, but Abaddon is just the most glorious thing. I used to be a big Chaos hater. I was very pro-Imperium. But you know what? Let's release the shackles of the Emperor. Abaddon is so much fun to play. Run him, run 11 War Dogs, and you will see the light. You will look down at yourself and say, I have become a better person for playing this list.
You've got me convinced.
Do
I'm
it.
immediately convinced.
And get someone to paint up your Abaddon, slap chop that sucker, make him so gorgeous, get those war dogs, spray paint them white for all I care, and just live that life.
Okay, I'm in. I want you to know I'm completely in. I've been convinced immediately. So thank you. Because honestly, like, they're super fun to play.
Oh, yeah.
The Harlequin army is also, and I also, at some point in my life, my sins, have been a Harlequin player. I love the dynamic nature of them. But I really respect Harlequin players that play at this level, like we're seeing Hamza play, like we're seeing Tim play, because I really do feel like in some matchups they have a disadvantage, and they have to play to do well versus they just do well, which is what I'm talking about with Knights, because I just want to do well.
Exactly.
Which is just Knights doing well for me as opposed to me doing well with Knights.
You know what I would love? Dickie has said that Eric and Hamza have been having some really great table commentary.
Yeah,
Maybe
let's
we
have
could
a
plug in their mics. Hopefully they're working, and it's not like Francois.
There we go. You should be able to hear them now.
Well, I guess my calculated targeting wasn't very useful. Well, it killed two. But finished up the unit, I guess.
No, for sure. 22 with these bikes.
Yep.
Not gonna touch or do the solitaire will go on blitz. Okay. It's a 24-inch blitz.
He goes wherever he wants.
And you only have one CP? You cannot interrupt with one CP?
No, I cannot.
And there's no way for you to get a CP on my turn?
Nope.
Do you mind if I just move these cards down because it won't make a difference?
It's okay.
I just don't want to keep them sliding on over.
No problemo.
Merci beaucoup. Shadow Seer will stay right there. Actually, no. Shadow Seer will advance. 14.
You like them sixes.
Apparently right now, eh? It's a thing. 14, and then they're done. This troop master will advance.
Yes.
Okay, well, it's looking pretty good there. They sound like they're having a fun time.
Eric's feeling pretty comfortable. Hamza doing what a Harlequin player has to do after Knights fail to shoot him, but then stomp the crap out of him. He's laughing. He's now looking at how do I eke points. I believe that's his troop master going in to say, let's try to delete a big boy or a small boy. I don't care. Something needs to get gone. And look at that placement directly in the middle of everything. I love to see it. But we do have someone out in the field. He's really excited about Warhammer Fantasy Battle. Maybe we should cut to him. I think his name is Val Heffelfinger.
Yes.
I could be wrong.
It could be. The Hef, over to him right now.
Not just Val Heffelfinger, Pete. I will point out that 67% of the 7 people who voted in the poll that I put up for 1 minute said that they were about ready for a Warhammer Fantasy Battle 6th edition update. That's right, World Championships right now taking place of the Warhammer Fantasy Battle 6th edition. Currently viewing Lizardmen versus Chaos. These guys are sitting down. They seem pretty into the game. I'm going to go for some stand-up players. Let's go see some stand-up players, Rich. Now, guys, we got High Elves versus, I can't see through these glasses. Oh, we got some Tzeentch. Now, High Elves in 6th edition, as oppressive as they were later in the game?
That's a good question. I don't know. It's the first time I play.
That's amazing. Keep it up. What got you into the fantasy battles?
That'd be Total War. It was I had a lot of fun, and the models look really cool.
Okay, and yourself?
I'm new here too. Sorry, I don't know the game yet, so I'm still bad at it. Yeah.
World Championship Warhammer 6th edition fantasy battles taking place right now. These guys are sharks. Look out. There's chow in the water. There's circling. They mean business. All right, we're going to keep going here. Now we've got 400. I was corrected earlier. We have the Empire taking on 450 Noblars. Let me just talk with the commander of the Noblars here. Now, does having 450 Noblars make you the biggest knob here?
I would say yes. I don't think anyone comes close in this whole room to having this many models on the table.
What inspired you to paint 450 Noblars and come to the World Championships of Warhammer Fantasy Battles 6th edition?
Well, I've wanted to do this army for a long, long time, and well, I finally got the money to track them all down, and yeah, you know, because 6 is making a comeback, so I wanted to really make a bang, and this is a bang, so I had to bring the Noblars.
So when you were scrounging them up, what was the weirdest place that you found a Noblar?
I would say in my own storage locker.
Okay, I think we're going to leave it right there. We'll cover what's in the storage locker a little bit later. Now, do you think that Hellblaster volley gun is going to be enough to deal with 450 Noblars?
No, absolutely not.
Do you have a plan?
Not really.
Sounds about right. Yep. It's the World Championships, guys, of Warhammer Fantasy Battle 6th edition. As you can see, real cutting-edge meta lists going on right now. Now, next up, we have an army here inspired by Frozen. Really cool. I really like your army. What is your favorite song from Frozen?
It's in French. I'm sorry. I don't know the song in English.
Je ne parle pas français. Je suis désolé.
Libérer, délivrer. Faut se délivrer de ces morts vivants horribles là.
C'est bon. Tu parles anglais, par chance? What are we playing here? We got some vamp counts.
Yeah, Army of Sylvania, Storm of Chaos, baby.
Storm of Chaos, baby. Said it with such confidence, he assumed I knew what he was saying. Now, I'm noticing 2 black coaches here. Yes, sir. One slightly larger than the hilarious tiny old one. What's the idea between 2 black coaches?
Double the terror, double the fun.
I mean, that's probably on the Noblar guy standard profile.
Yeah, probably.
Excellent. We got one more. Table here. Dan with his Tzinch. Doesn't look like much of a ringer army to me. Looks like it's pretty serious. I know full well that Dan doesn't pull his punches, even when playing against younger children in the meta. But I mean, just piling on with a Demon Prince against a literal prince. This young man is one of the best Warhammer Fantasy Battle 6th edition players coming up right now. He's a rookie on the scene, and I'm just gonna see if we can get a quick, if we can, one moment here. Sorry, can I interrupt for one moment? Just ask a question. May I ask a question for the stream? No. Okay. All right. That's fine. No, he takes his game very seriously, and it's fine. Like, I mean, these people are focused. They're locked in. They are playing for the World Championships of the Warhammer Fantasy Battles 6th edition World Championships of the world. So we'll come back with an update a little bit later, and we'll see who is really the biggest knob. Over to you guys.
Thank you so much. Huge shout out to that up and coming 6th edition Warhammer Fantasy Battle kid.
Yeah, just living his best life and no interviews.
Don't need it. A young Magnus Carlsen in the making.
Yeah,
100%. He Boncloud bantered that first game. Yeah, he's definitely French. Okay, so let's get back to these games. I'll remind everyone of exactly where we are and what's happened. In this game versus Hamza, using Harlequins against Eric Marcoux with his Imperial Knights. Hamza took the first turn, poked his little head out on the left-hand side, then Eric popped over, did a little bit of shooting. Then Hamza went all in, tried to kill as much as he can, was only able to kill 1 Armiger. In the slapback that we've seen from Eric, domination, death, and destruction.
And a domination that Eric wasn't quite sure he was going to accomplish because his shooting whiffed almost completely. He went full calculated targeting, which should have wiped out multiple units. He killed 4 troops and blew up 1 Starweaver. So his butt was a little bit clenched, but unfortunately Hamza got so all in on that turn 2 that he left himself open to 6 or 7 charges by the Knights, and the vast majority of his Starweavers have now been removed. He's short on troops, and now he's making some pretty ballsy plays. You're seeing troop units hang out over here. Hamza, I believe this is his troop master, has run and just stood in the center of 3 Armigers, and he's saying, "Come and get me, boys. We're going to play a game of slap tickle. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
it's
a good
got
game.
some kind
My
of tickle
favorite.
fight.
That's one of my favorites.
He's got another unit of troops here. He's flooding the board. He's moved his Skyweavers down to Eric's deployment zone. He's definitely playing for keeps. He's going to his goal right now is kill as many little armigers as possible, and we're starting to see a couple get picked up.
I think that's one of the things that's most interesting about kind of like your trad first wave generation knights is that, and obviously there's a variety of difference since then, but and to not the same effect the little armigers, but they're just a multi-utility unit in which in many ways very few units inside 40k are. They shoot well and they fight pretty well.
Yes, 100%.
And so once you get into that kind of like 12 to 18-inch death box that they are able to produce, you're then, and which is like mid-board outwards. So they've got, especially on these shorter boards, they seem very, very effective now. Like again, not deadly, but when they were able to bring the shooting and the fighting to bear at the same time, it really scales up how much they're able to do.
Exactly, and each of these troop units has fusion pistols, 2 each, which are perfect for pulling down these armigers that only have a 5-up invuln for protection. And so, like we've already seen 1 armiger removed. I would fully suspect we'll see 2 or 3 dead by the end of the close combat phase, which will be a big for Hamza. I don't think he's going to be able to do too much to the big boys hanging out in the middle. We'll have to see how that plays out. Table 1 is looking pretty interesting. I think Tim is in a lot of trouble after getting shut out on that turn 2. However, he was able to put a pretty good amount of hurt on the Hive Tyrant in the middle. I believe it's down to 3 wounds remaining.
Wow.
6. No, yeah, I believe it's down to 3 or 4 wounds remaining because a troop unit managed to get in the middle and start popping off fusion on him. We saw the green unit of Tyranid warriors fully deleted, and we saw the this bigger blob taken down to about 5 or 6 models, just with incidental shooting from troops and from death jesters.
Yeah,
the Tyranid Prime that was hiding in here also dead, and the Biovore. So Francois' backline has now been eliminated. So it's like Francois running out of resources, but his biggest and best resource is still hanging out there, and he does have this second Hive Tyrant that can come out to play if he really needs it.
Yeah, this is a really interesting match. That Hive Tyrant taking the middle of the board and then just being able to project power
and just
everywhere.
Jumping everywhere and then running back. It's been key.
Very effective because it means he's losing other units apart from that, and then getting to it has always been an issue. Those warriors also seem to be doing quite well. Like, it's been a very, very interesting match.
Very interesting, very
especially
deadly
when
match.
especially when I don't think the Tyranid warriors has performed as well as I would have wanted them to. Like, I feel like when there's that many on the board, I would have expected more out of them.
Well, I think a lot of that was how Tim positioned his models. He forced Francois into some bad choices. And Francois, splitting some attacks.
Oh, wow. So the Hive Tyrant is fighting the Troop Master.
Interesting. Did the Troop Master already fight?
We'll find out. Find out if the Troop Master or...
How many wounds are left on the Hive Tyrant?
Oh, there are only 2 left as opposed to taken 2. Oof. That...
2 remaining? Okay. So Hive Tyrant down to 2 wounds, fighting the Troop Master. He does have the Maw Claws, so he does have extra attacks. He would have gained an additional probably 2 attacks already from killing 2 Shadow Seers with it.
Oh, boy.
So he's sitting on... Oh, because he would be sitting on 6 or 7 attacks right now, only getting 2 hits.
That's going to be disappointing.
That's got to...
Oh, he still lifts him.
But he still lifts him. Failing on those ward saves.
I mean, he's not going to be too happy. He's got him down to 2 wounds, but it would have been much better to have got him killed.
If Tim could have survived that, he would have been overjoyed.
Yeah, that would have been great.
That Hive Tyrant sitting on 2 can still put out a ton of damage with those
Is there any healing available?
I believe he can heal D3 wounds with a stratagem.
Okay. I mean, not tons, taking them up to 5.
Those Venom Thropes in combat with that troop unit, they should die. They only have a 4 armor save to protect them.
So, yeah, and there's a lot of attacks coming in from those troops. I think this gives Francois a cranial feasting
so
point. Thanks, Nick.
He'll get 3. He should get 3 points from that, and he'll get a CP back if he hasn't already gotten one back from cranial feasting.
Yeah.
So Francois has been eating that up.
So so currently the score going into this round, I think we'll get this updated so it's actually... I think this is deadly accurate right now.
I think it's accurate right now because we haven't seen Tim's turn 3.
So as you can see, a big gulf in points there. Yeah. A big gulf in points. So Tim really needs to bring these points back this turn to start pushing it into like it's something a little bit closer. Whereas on table 2, I feel like the Knights are in a very dominant board position now.
They are. They're still down on points by 19, but we haven't seen Eric's turn 3 primary, and that will probably be a difference maker. Because he'll get more yield no ground, he'll get more honor of the house, and his primary is going to be probably. Well, he's not sitting on a ton of objectives, so I don't know. Like he doesn't have the middle. He has this objective, I believe. Although that Skyweaver that's hanging out there might be touching.
Maybe Tim used his position. Sorry, not Tim.
Hamza.
Hamza used his position to draw the Knights
Well, yeah.
out of
No,
charges
here we go.
off objectives.
We see the troops popping onto the objective now too. So he might be shutting out Eric here. At the very most, Eric's getting like 1 point for sitting on this objective. So 4 points. That's big for Hamza. If he can hold Eric down for at least another turn, it might give him the win in the long run.
Very exciting, like actually really exciting to see it take shape. Here, Hamza like trying to get all the points. Everyone's suggesting oval terrain. Just to update on the terrain here at Capital City Bloodbath, the team have worked really hard during COVID actually, this being one of Canada's the largest 40k events actually, or larger. They've worked super hard to refresh their entire terrain, which previously was incredibly pretty but not necessarily as functional. But the key element here is that all of their boards are identical to a degree now.
Yes.
And so like wherever you play, everyone's playing the same game, which I think is lovely. As to terrain, the 2 central pieces rotate but always the same shape based on deployment maps, and then the rest is player placed.
Correct.
The rest is player placed. I personally think that if they have all of the terrain be exactly the same for every table, they probably could produce a terrain map. But like, I still think that they've done a particularly good job of like making something happen, so you don't end up with quite as much. Because there's definitely, you'll know better than me, Pete. There's a big tactic around player placed terrain at the moment.
Oh yeah, there's a lot. Like player placed terrain in most cases, especially if you look at like the FLG system where everything is player placed. If you really know what you're doing, you can set off. You can set off all sorts of tricks against your opponent by shifting ruins so that they're outward facing. And generally that first piece that is placed is critical to your gameplay and your strategy. By removing that here at CCBB and saying the 2 middle pieces are always going to be the same and you just shift them based on deployment, it removes a lot of the the benefit of that player placed and getting to pick that first piece, which is it's really good. Also, because of the way they've ruled it in terms of how far pieces need to be away from each other, there are only a couple of ways you can set up these pieces even to begin with. So really, the strategy, if you're using any in player placed at CCBB, it's actually about where you're placing these grates for your dense terrain more than anything. Because the big pieces are almost always have to go in the same areas.
Oh, that's very interesting. But then the key becomes is how you can affect the mouse on shooting.
Exactly. And what we're seeing here now from Hamza is some like incredible play around, like what I was saying, shutting down Eric's secondary for when he goes into his next turn. Like all of these troops are smacking on themselves onto objectives. He's going to try to pick up a couple more armigers in close combat. But the big thing for him, it's less about killing and more about Eric not getting any primary score next turn if things go the way Hamza wants.
Oh,
so
okay.
Troop Master has picked up one of the armigers, the one that was already weakened.
Oh, there we go. Does not explode.
That's really good for Hamza. Hamza doesn't want them to blow up if he can help it. The mortal wounds are more painful to him. These are both Helverins. One of them is the one with the Bastard Helm. I would assume that's the one that's already taken wounds because that's the one I'd be targeting if I had the option to. If he can blow that one up too, that will be a big strike to Eric as well. Because while those big knights put out a ton of damage, they can only move so fast.
Yeah, they're not as fast as Harlequins. I think they're fast enough. They're mid-range speed.
They're okay. Like they do move at a decent clip, but they can't be everywhere on the board.
That's true. That's true.
So and then we still put another 6 wounds on that armiger. Can you tell me, Dick, is that the one that has the Bastard Helm? I assume so.
I think it might be because it's the one that was in the terrain previously.
And it looks like it only has 1 wound remaining because Eric is a maniac and counts up.
Yes.
2 wounds remaining.
So, but he doesn't. He's only taken 1.
He's taken 12.
Oh wow.
Out of 14.
Okay, he's taken 12, so he's only got 1 wound left.
2 wounds left, yep.
That's pretty important.
There he goes.
At this stage, I would maybe, if you had the CP, I would auto-explode. I don't know what the CP situation is.
And I'm not sure if Mechanicum is the one that has the auto. I think they are the ones that do, but he might. I believe the Small Knights only do D3 mortals. Okay,
he does
wants to save his CP.
Okay, that's very interesting. I get that's very interesting. can still count as runes of
Yeah,
obscurity.
Bush League, you can say what, I'm 100% with you. You can make a giant forest, and you can make things look different. And I do like that. It was something I kind of mentioned. One thing I dislike about having these kind of uniform terrain sets is it makes it a little bland. That said,
that's true.
Also, things cost money.
They do. They do. And as someone as Pete knows, back in the UK, I have the TSN Arena as like my own gaming venue, and we have 16 different boards. We have 16 different boards at the arena, which are all 3D printed. But I need you to know that I had to spend thousands on 3D printers and designs, and basically teach myself to be a 3D printer to get different. It really is not a question of money, even, Pete, interestingly. It's a question of there is not the availability, or at least the availability that I'm aware of. I know FLG does terrain sets. I know that WTC has terrain sets as well. I went out there, but for cost and even production, the scale of getting very functional terrain at scale is very, very difficult. In my personal opinion, as someone who's produced it themselves. So
this has been a big turn for Hamza. We've seen 3 Helverins so far drop by the looks of things. He does have the chance to kill another. This could be the big swing that Hamza needed. Like I said, he's going to be cutting off Eric's primary. Eric being down to a couple of Helverins and the 2 big boys. He's going to have to be and the speed of the Harlequins after this, he can hide. He can hide in so many places and keep Eric from being able to pick off the things that are on objectives. I'm very curious to see if this is the turning point. Hamza playing his troop units so well and being where he needs to be. It didn't look good for Hamza coming into this turn with so many boats dying.
It did not. He had very few resources.
That said, we kind of mentioned in both games, a big key to killing these Harlequin units is being able to pop the boats and then get at the inside before the inside can do anything. Eric wasted all of his shooting, barely killed anything.
It's actually a really interesting way to play. Effectively, okay, this is your turn, kill the stuff. Now I've got the stuff out. You're losing. It's quite fun. You're neutering the damage.
Yes, yeah.
Your damage was ineffective to me. I love that. I think that's really clever, and it's given them that play style, which I think is fascinating. I've loved seeing that.
I think we should cut to the other table. I heard some whispers from Tim, as he mutters into the dark, and I can kind of read his lips. He is saying that he doesn't feel like he can come back from this. He felt going into turn 3 that he had a shot, but that turn 4, once again, not scoring the primary he needed to score. And he didn't kill enough warriors. He thought he'd be able to score an 8 on primary, at least an 8 this turn on primary, which he felt would put him in contention. He only got a 4 on his. Francois only scoring a 4 himself because he's running out of resources, but he's so far ahead. And he still has this big block of warriors that Tim was only able to whittle down a small amount. So Tim not feeling too good about his options here. The Hive Tyrant picking up another unit by the looks of things in close. I'm going to say this was close combat.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the resources being so light has been pretty key. Just find out which phase we're in on this game would be good. So
we're on the Tyranid fight phase.
Oh, so the Tyranid fight phase, and we've got the Venoms going into the boats.
Now, I'm assuming the troops are still in these boats. There's still 10 or 15 troop remaining.
I think so.
These ones may be already emptied because usually he puts a model inside. Okay, troops are still in all of the boats, so that's great for Tim. It's going to let him explode out this next turn and clear out a lot of this board if they survive the. Well, obviously, it looks like they're going to be surviving this fight phase, or the majority are surviving this fight phase. But he is so far behind. I don't see how he's going to catch up that many points in 2 turns. We've been surprised before. Tim is saying the same thing himself. He's going to have to pull off some really. He's going to have that luck of the laughing god if he's going to carry this through.
Yeah, he's going to have to work really hard here.
Because Francois has done an amazing job of holding him back.
Okay. Oh, just.
This is it. So it's 64 to 27. So he's down by 37 points. It's not insurmountable because he can score 15 on primary over 2 turns if he 30 on primary over 2 turns if he gets extra lucky. I don't see how he does it unless he He has to clear this brick.
It's interesting. He's still not super down on resources.
No,
but it just hasn't been as effective. Like we have this thing we call them wound dumps in Age of Sigmar.
Yes.
Where you just overload it. You know, the horde meta, but actually translated into just wounds as opposed to anything more. And it feels like those Tyranid warrior like spam effectively that we've seen, like there's so much produced by Francois, kind of does that trick. And it's like, okay, you got output, but you don't have enough output.
You don't have enough.
Like DPS checks is one of the other things that we tend to call them in Age of Sigmar.
That's what they're called in like MMOs and things like that.
We call them. I don't know if there are many examples of DPS checks in 40k.
Well, Leviathan is kind of an example. This list here is a DPS check. We used to see that with Necrons, and we are seeing it again with Necrons with these arcing lot lists with a ton of Ghost Arcs with the warriors inside, where it's, can you do 120 wounds over the course of 3 rounds? Like, can you because the Necron secondaries are so powerful and so easy to quickly accomplish. Most Necron players by turn 3 are at 80 or 90 points already. Like they're just like, here we are. If you haven't killed everything by now, the game is mine.
And because they're all objective secured.
Yeah, they're all objective secured. You have to kill the unit and then everything inside it. We saw Liam Hackett win the WTC singles event that way.
Yeah.
And I think he only lost one matchup, but because they played so many rounds, he still pulled off the win, and he lost by barely. And it was like an 11-9.
Okay.
So it was very close, and that's just how that list plays. And we've seen it earlier in round 1. We had 2 Necron players. One of them did that. He just, even though it wasn't arcing lot, but it was a similar strategy of, like, if you cannot wipe me out by turn 3, I'm going to max out my points. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, of course.
And we're seeing similar here with Francois and his Tyranids, because Francois hasn't had the best luck. He has left a lot of boats alive that should never have been alive to begin with, which has kept Tim kind of in this game in a weird way. Tim on his turn 4 only at a 31.
Yeah,
he's 33 points behind. He has to make things happen this turn in order to get a huge turn 5. I don't know if he can score that many points because I believe, like, once again, he's been held to 4 or 8 points on primary.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Like, it feels like that primary hold has been kind of the key. Like, and again, something we've noticed in Sigmar, like, those DPS check armies are so good on primary, so good. And I feel like that already puts you in a really solid position because lots of what we've seen over the past couple of days, Blood Angels game was a good example, I think, in both ways, is that trade mentality that you've seen with a lot of these armies, which early on in 9th edition, Harlequins were incredibly exceptional at. That trading off units because they were super cheap. And again, one of the reasons, other than all of the other busted stuff, that Drukhari was so good because they had that 3rd or 4th extra unit to trade with on objectives at the right time back in the day. And so that dominant ball position seems quite interesting for, of course, those DPS check armies. And we're seeing it in play here, and I'm enjoying seeing it play.
So what we're seeing here from Tim is, like, he has to go for broke. He has to maximize his point potential. Troops are popping out onto objectives. We're seeing the boats move into position to try and maximize his behind enemy lines, trying to see if he can at least eke out more on his deadly performance points. And clear off these objectives. He needs Francois to have basically nothing left going into turn 5. That's his goal now. He needs to make sure that Francois is sitting on only a couple of models. I'm not sure he has the damage output to do that, especially losing his Troop Master, losing both Shadow Seers. He's in a dark place.
Wow. Okay. All right. That's tough. Especially after he played an incredibly good game yesterday.
He did, and even in this game, the difference maker has been, like, he's been playing his butt off. He's playing into an army that he was just going to struggle with regardless. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Like he said at the very beginning of the game, I don't think I can kill you, so I need to play a different... And he got lucky in that he had the opportunity. He still didn't kill enough by wiping out 15 warriors in one turn.
Yeah,
like
so
almost 2/3 of Francois' list killed in a turn, and it didn't matter.
So there you can see Francois right now. Oh, I'm going to stop doing that.
So Flyrant killed down to 1 wound from just some mini shooting.
Oh, the Flyrant is down. Okay, that's good.
That's really good for Tim.
That's great for Tim.
He needed that to happen because that Flyrant has been giving him too many headaches. And now we're seeing him pick up the Death Gesture shooting is going to try to pick up the rest of the models on this objective. And really the key is going to be, what can this troop unit do to this big block?
Yes, as you can see, there's the Death Jester. Oh, and that's gone.
So Death Jester's cleared this objective. Really big for Tim. So the Venom Thropes are now gone. I would imagine these little boys will be dead too by the end of the turn. These Tyrant Guard, they are tough. I would this is going to be where France was going to at least keep a little bit of primary if I had to guess, because they don't die easy. And there's 3 of them hanging out on that objective. Even if he loses 1, I don't think Tim's stealing that out from anybody. But Harlequins have a lot of tricks.
Harlequins do have a lot of tricks. Very effective here. But, big point changes. Let's just go find out what Harlequin tricks are over here. And again, looking at the scores on table 2, you can see Hamza currently in the lead by 19 points.
It looks like we're on. Are we? No, we have to be on Eric's turn right now. This Armiger survived. It looks like it only took 3 wounds from that troop squad. That has to be big news for Eric. Probably 4 because he would have healed 1 at the end of the turn. Yeah, so if we can get an update on Eric's scores, unless he did get shut out, which is what I think Hamza was trying to do. I can't imagine he got fully shut out because he would have gotten secondary. But yeah, so Eric will be at 30 points. So he did get shut out on primary, which is amazing for Hamza. But now Eric can kill off all these guys here, kill off this, and it's going to be interesting. Well, he might not be able to kill this up because invuln saves can be a bit of a problem.
They can. You just roll 4 ups and you're in a good place, right?
And both of these Armigers are tied up, so I don't imagine he wanted to spend CP to fall back.
So, Pete, if you just take a moment to look at the secondary so we can just talk it through. Hamza's trying to do a deadly performance in behind enemy lines. Just catch me up on what those 2 would be and what he's trying to look to do.
So, deadly performance, I'm wondering why he should have scored something there. Deadly performance is if he kills a unit within 6 inches by an objective. He should get 3 victory points for that. The fact that he's not scored any, and I did see him pop Armigers on objectives. I'm wondering if he's waiting to score those at the end of the game. Because I think he should have gotten at least 6 by now for killing those Armigers that were on the objectives. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, so here's our current score update, 52-30.
There we go. So he does have 3. So he did, because he only scored it once, and he didn't accomplish anything on turn in terms of killing things on objectives. Behind enemy lines of 4. Eric, really low points on Yield No Ground and Honor the House. You'd expect by now he'd be at least scored about 10 on secondaries on that. Renew the Oaths, I believe, happens at the end of the game, so we're not going to see anything there until the end.
Yes.
Eric's in an interesting spot. He's down on points, but he's not down on resources as I think Hamza wished him to be. Hamza would have liked at least this Armiger to be dead, and the fact that it's still living and can pop some sweep attacks on these units that have surrounded him, because I believe there's a small set of bikes also tagging him from the back. That's good news.
Yeah, let's take a moment to listen into the players and see how. So Big Knight currently shooting now. Let's listen to the players, see how they feel about it.
Page right there if you wanted. The 3-inch. No, because that's a 3-man unit giving him the 3-inch.
Yeah, I guess I needed to kill 1 more.
Maybe I just don't. I have to fail more saves.
Maybe you just failed. You didn't fail any saves, I guess. Well, I guess
that was a really important part. That's why I didn't. I waited on the luck there.
I didn't saw it. I thought he was.
No, that's why I was so meticulous about the one
I
was
then
pulling.
Gatling and battle cannon and flamer into the bike.
And then stubbers here.
Yes.
You got it, brother.
Yes. So I'm going to start with the stubber.
Yeah.
Well, when dices are against you, there's not much you can do other than just accept it. Jeez, Louise.
Right? Whisper in their ears. Tell them they're pretty. 2?
Yes.
Both good?
Okay.
Oh my God, this is so Harlequin.
I guess here now, I'm going to do the battle cannon and see if it's just enough. 8 shot.
Remember we tried into a Starweaver last time and what happened? With mortal wounds on?
So on 2s.
Yeah, brother.
3.
2.
Finally!
Finally! I will actually use luck on those. No, actually I'm not. They don't
Well, you could use it on 1s.
What do they get me?
On
I would roll both dice if I wanted, but I don't think I need it.
Well, technically, since you roll all of them, I could consider one of those would be the last one, because you can't,
That's fair. That's fair. No, I'm not going to do it either way. I did it wrong.
Anyway, I got a Gatling gun and the flamer.
I realized I processed that in a second later. I'm like, oh yeah, he's got 18 shots. And the flamer is actually what scares me more.
Yep. Oh, I forgot +1 ballistic skill here. So I had one shot. Do you mind? I had one thermal shot here hitting your, because I had 1-3.
Yeah, if you're confident that you had that, 100%,
Yeah.
that's totally fine with me.
So just one shot hitting, wounding you.
Wounding? He's good.
Why
You can't change the
Why did I
pass.
even bother?
You can't change the pass, all right?
Why did I even bother? Okay, so I guess combat. So since I didn't charge anything, you get to pick where you want to start.
Yeah, that's excellent. So I'll go with Solitaire, who's still on blitz mode.
I'll give him. No, I don't think he gets blitz.
For the battle round until the start of my next turn, I have my codex.
Yeah, can you
Of
just
course,
look
of
it up
course.
quickly?
Yeah.
We're on my time. Don't worry.
Oh no, you can put on my time. I think we have enough time to play the
Yeah,
game
yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
There's no stress on
The
that.
game's gonna get to the end.
But here,
No
let's read this
problem. Because I think I looked it up one time and. Your movement, instead of drawing, if it does so until the end of the turn, so it's not battle
Once
round.
per battle,
Yeah.
in your movement phase, instead of making this move.
If it
Until
does
end
so,
of the turn.
yeah. So it's
end
just
of player turn.
Exactly.
Because it's not saying battle round.
Exactly. So
I'm
now
so
you get.
sorry.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay. It's an easy thing to just overlook.
So I will spend 2 CP and go to 3 damage each on him.
Okay.
So 8 attacks.
No problem.
I'm like 99% sure I've done that in the past, where I've completed the blitz for 2 turns. So anyone I've ever done that against, I'm so sorry.
Well, the game's so complicated, it's easy to miss those little things.
Right?
So
2 at AP2, 3 damage.
Okay, so 4 up. Didn't make any.
3 damage each becomes 2 damage each.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if I'm re-rolling one of those two, but
So, so 7 suffered if you do stick like this. We'll put this on.
yeah, I'll go to 7. Yeah.
7 suffered. There you go.
Thank you. I appreciate your 12 dice. I can't use those because I start with 13 normally, but I guess I could use them in countdown.
Yeah.
Then now those guys would not make fun of me on stream.
There we go, right?
So continue. So it's on your time. Oh no, now it's
sorry.
my turn.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hit your troop unit with
Yes.
8 attack.
Yes, of course.
I'll get some.
You're bracketed now, right?
I'm
'Cause you're
get
taking
some.
7?
Yes.
So now
So
you're hitting
4s.
on 5s.
So 5s because of the -1. I was like, I'm gonna get a yellow dice in. Maybe it's gonna help me. It's not. Hey! No. Good. You deserve to die.
So rude.
So now you pick a unit.
Yeah, it's what we're gonna do is we're gonna pile in the troop master because he can attack, and then to make sure that the bike can get in. So now I'll have 5 to contest it after when I pile in with the bike. So the troop master, he gets 2 wounds at AP3, 2 damage. So both go through.
Yes.
2 damage, so 1 damage each is taking 9.
Yep.
And like I said, that's his because he's fighting through the ruin to get the 2-inch. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Well, now it's my turn to pick a unit.
Oh yeah, yes, you can keep
So
going.
I'll just hit your troop here
Yes, of
with my
course.
Armiger.
This is the Helverin?
Yes. On 2s, so 3 saves.
And yeah, I got luck. Good. How many do I have on there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have way too many on there, so it doesn't matter. So 2 guys go down.
Yep.
I'm gonna keep it the guy that's in engagement. Okay. And then I guess into your Warglaive before he fights. Not
Yep.
that it would really make a difference. I'll hit. And 5s. Strength 4. 1.
We'll leave that game, and I think some of the great things being said there was the camaraderie on that game
Oh,
is
yeah.
particularly exciting. I was just enjoying listening to them two play 40k, which is a really fun, quite a different vibe from that one final
And
you
we'll
posted
cut,
on YouTube.
we'll cut back to Hamza and Eric shortly because we have had a handshake on table 1. So basically what happened here, at the end of turn 4, Tim didn't kill as much as he needed to in order to whip the game around. So what ended up happening was the troops killed all of the Tyranid warriors here. He was not able to kill this remaining, I believe this was a Biovore that was sitting on this objective. It didn't really matter to the game. The big thing was something that I said was going to be very hard for him to do. He needed to kill these 2 Hive Guard, or Tyrant Guard I should say, and he wasn't able to. So after they worked it out, their turn 5 was basically just a talk out as to where everything was going to move. And Tim realized that the maximum possible score he was going to be able to get was a 64, and Francois was already on 64. So all Francois had to do was to walk onto one objective and score a 70 to end the game. And so they're calling it as a 70 to 64 with because nothing else, even if anything else died on the board, that was the score they were going to end up at.
Wow.
So 70-64 for Tyranids, a very close game. There was a lot of chat back and forth on if Tim even had it in him. Like, he scores 33 points on turn 5.
Wow. Wow.
But it's still not enough.
Wow.
Because he was held so hard on
So it was that
primary.
turn 2 when he was never able to get any primary
When
points.
he scored a 0 on turn 2 and then only a 4 on turn 3, that's what did him in. So.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to get to hear right now how those players felt about it. So we're going to go over to Val, who's going to be talking to the players and see how they felt about what was a really thrilling game.
It was.
Not very techy.
It was.
Okay. Over to the guys right now.
Now, I don't want to blame the result, Tim, on Peter the Falcon, but he was doing terrible things to Francois's name, and I think that probably brought bad karma on this matchup. What do you think?
Yeah, there was a couple bad karmas, but overall it was just a good game. Super close. Nothing to complain about. No super bad dice swings either way. It was just a good game.
Francois, would that be in agreement over there?
Oh yeah, totally. Super close. I thought I was losing at one point, then I thought I was winning. It was dice balanced out. I made a few mistakes. He made a few mistakes. We both played really good game, I think. Tim's a wonderful opponent. I love him.
So with a couple back and forth moments there, what would you call your turning point there, Tim?
Me not deploying my bikes right, so I couldn't get deadly performance for the first 2 turns. That was basically it.
That would have tied the game right there. If he gets deadly performance 2 more times, that's a tie game.
On an upswing, do you guys think the Noblar guy or the kid will win the Warhammer Fantasy Battle 6th Edition team tournament?
No comment.
There's a child?
Thanks, everybody. I'm going to kick it back to the booth. These guys are amazing. Thanks for a great game. Congratulations. We'll go back to Robert and Pete.
So yeah, so that's it. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No,
Nick.
you go.
Well,
no, you after you.
Thanks, Val Heffelfinger, for that marvelous interview. Poor Tim Dietlifs. He's only ever spoken 6 words in his life, and Val's forced him to double that up.
Wow.
Because Tim is of the belief that the more words you speak, the more years are shaved off of your potential age.
Yeah, he can range back into the mountains now, disappearing into the misty fog where to roll tobacco on the thighs of grizzly bears.
As one does.
As one does. As one does.
So, thrilling game, 70-64. Tim puts it to he deployed his bikes wrong, and that's how tight a game that was going to be. You heard it at the very beginning. Tim was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to kill all your stuff, so I need to play more strategic. Unfortunately for him, that one little thing really turned it on him. We saw him almost able to claw it back because Francois was not able to kill all those boats. He was able to wipe out basically 2/3 of Francois' Tyranid warriors, which is the core of his list. Was not even with that, still was not enough to face that inevitable tide. But we've got a very close, at least on paper, game going on table 2. It is a 22-point lead for Hamza. He's been able to hamstring Eric on primary really hard and on secondary because Eric went with a secondary list that was meant to be very aggressive, and he hasn't been allowed to be what he wanted.
And that's even after some pretty decent damage going into some of those units, right?
Some amazing damage. The big thing for Eric, for Hamza, was that Eric's turn 2 shooting that should have picked up 2, 3, 4 of those Starweavers picked up only 1. And so he had to use his close combat to destroy those to get the troops out. And that let Hamza kind of do that thing that Harlequins like to do, which is use their flip belts, jump, do backflips, pirouettes,
jump through things,
and show up on every objective, kill a couple of those Helverins, steal objectives from Eric, shut him out or give him only a 4 on primary when he was looking at an 8 or a 12. And then those 4+ invulns have been saving Hamza, keeping him in this game. He still has, I think, about 15 troop just ranging around this board now. Eric has had to kind of reposition his big knights.
And they're able to do so well, right? Because they're infantry. And again, like as someone who may be tuning in who doesn't really know what's happening, those buildings basically block line of sight, and infantry can just walk through them. So even though, like, you would think maybe you would walk around, they walk through, they climb through the window, like disapparate and like teleport through a bit like a wall, whatever it may be.
Yes.
Whatever it might be, mobile and agile and hostile, and that really gives those infantry real options. I think that's one of the reasons that we've seen these L shapes in the middle, because one of the problems, I think, or one of the metas, that's a better way of saying it, that was produced in early 9th edition was because we had so many large pieces of ruins that infantry can move through that it made some units very, very effective. Blood Angels and the Sanguinary Guard, the big shields, what are they called, that came in the starter box for 9th.
Oh, Blade Guard.
Yeah, Blade Guard. Yeah, and Blade Guard, they were particularly good at one point, right?
Early on, they were very good. We've seen them kind of die off because of some of the changes to the game. But yeah, they're like you still see them in some lists, like for Black Templar, things like that. Yeah.
So do you feel like, because I feel like we've had a terrain density reduction past 6 months to a year, do you feel that's changed the shape of the game somewhat?
It has to a degree. Like I think a big thing has been like 9th edition changed the way terrain was played so vividly, and a lot of the big event organizers had to either completely overhaul all of their terrain, like we saw CCBB do here, or they had to find a new way about using the terrain, which we saw something like FLG and Nova do, where they kind of changed the way they handled their own terrain. That has led to density being a bit of a problem on some tables. We're not seeing that here, I would say, other than that one game where the players forgot to reposition their L's in the middle. We saw that happen in that Tau versus Sisters game, which really opened things up for disaster for the Sisters player, which he still almost came back from. Yeah, so let's cut back. This game is definitely over.
Oh,
yes,
cut back. Apologies, wrong button.
No, it's okay,
wrong
button. This Table 2 game, like, this is going to come down.
Well, let's tune in. The players are having a great time.
Let's listen to
in.
the players,
You need to
because I
move
think this
from
is
here.
Hamza's game to lose now, even though
And you cannot be more
Eric's the
than
one with
6
all the
inches
power.
away from the board.
Fuck it. Let's just get the full behind enemy. I'm getting the full behind enemy, and I will get it the rest of the game. That's no problem. Deadly performance. What we're going to do is we're going to come out over here then.
Okay.
And just stay hidden.
Mm-hmm.
And have one guy like that. Is that what you mean?
Yeah,
So
well,
that's okay.
Yeah, I'll just make
remaining
sure you're.
reserves are coming in, or these were models that were put back into reserves and are now coming back out.
No, you can never move more than 6 inches
No, but-
away from your board. If you're within 1 inch, you could get within 1 inches of me,
Okay,
or within
that's
9,
fine.
but you
Just
still
put
got to
them
be
all
within
within
6.
six
Yeah,
then.
yeah, I'll
Just
just move you back
Thank
a little
you.
bit.
Thank you, Marcio.
Like so, you happy like that with the placement?
Yeah.
Good.
I'm not happy, but I'll take it.
No, but it's
That's-
it's how it works. Like I'm not
Like,
the
wow,
one.
what a little bitch.
I'm not the one
You got
like,
to
choosing.
interrogate? It goes off.
I'm not the one choosing, Hamza.
Don't
Give
hate
me a break, man.
Give me a break. That's going to do that, and I'm going to go into shooting. First place I'll go.
This
is
has been a
gonna
really
be-
nice match. These two have
I'm
been
charging
really
here,
fun.
so that doesn't matter. 2 fusion pistols at your Crusader.
Yep.
Want to do anything?
No.
Both hit. 1 wound at AP4.
5 up.
Cool. And then, so we're going to go with all these bikes at that Warglaive. So 2d3. They're going through the forest, so 2
Okay,
shots
yep.
each. This is on your Choppy Boy.
Yep.
2 wounds at AP3 on Choppy Boy.
You don't like my choppy boy?
No, he's too choppy.
So 1
D3 damage. 3 damage becomes
So
2.
goes up to.
True Master with his fusion
3.
pistols shoot him.
Yep.
Hits. Fails to wound. Then the yellow troop will shoot him with fusion pistol. Fails to hit. Death Jester will shoot him with 3 shots. Actually,
Because the only reason you can shoot right is because
Fall back, shoot,
because Harlequins can fall back and charge.
fall back and shoot. Rising Crescendo. And Harlequin Panoply. Fall back, shoot, fall back,
Okay.
charge.
I thought it was because of light. Because I.
No, light makes you
Because you
active
can fall back
stationary.
and charge, but I didn't thought. You sure Crescendo also gives shoot?
Yeah, I think everything goes fall back and shoot. That's good. Put that in because
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Because I thought Crescendo was like given one or the other, but not both.
Shoot and declare a charge.
You good, Ben? You good?
I would feel horrible if I did it any other way. Jeez,
Well,
'cause
you-
that's a lot. I've done that.
Yeah, but I probably never did it, so
No, that's fair.
it's on me.
That Jester does mortal wounds. He'll just hit this Helverin.
Yes.
Yeah. All 3 hit. Strength to 6 because even though he's in dense, he ignores dense. 1 wound at AP4, 2 damage, and 2 mortals on this Helverin.
Okay. 1 wound at AB4, not saved.
So 4 damage altogether on him.
So minus so because
he's not minus, right? 'Cause
no,
a
he's not. He's
bastard
not
child.
minus. Yeah. So yeah, he
4
dies.
damage altogether. Does he explode?
So does he? Do I want to make him auto explodes?
Right into 2 guy, 5. That's 3 wounds.
Yeah, that would be that would not be worth it. If he does
Their
explode,
mics
though,
are
he does
open, so-
not.
Yeah. I would have thought that he would have wanted to.
I'm running out of little dudes.
This bike into that armature, so haywire cannon.
That's doing.
4 shots.
The other armature
And
exploding
force
would
to
be
wound.
better anyway because there's more.
1 wound at
units around him.
AP3.
Yes, I see. Yeah, I agree.
5
And
up.
he's only going to have the Crusader left,
damage.
right?
1.
He's going to have the Errant
then
and the
a stun
Crusader
horde.
left. This guy I think is going to survive
Awesome.
the round
That's
as well.
gonna
'cause
commit
there's only
on
a couple
call.
troops
And then the normal
in this
DJ
building
will shoot
fighting.
at
We'll have
that
to see.
Warglaive.
We're still only in the shooting.
Nothing.
No.
Oh, there's only one
and
guy
then,
touching him. So
charges,
this Armiger should live. No trouble.
I did that. Okay, cool. Charge. First place, Solitaire.
Yep.
So he's in. And then the Troop Master. Both are in because he gets 3 plus 2 for the
that's
engagement.
a Troop Master back there? Never mind. No, that Armiger is super dead.
I'm going to keep my troops out so to make sure they get behind enemies. And then beyond that, we're going to
there's a Troop Master there as well, he just said.
Charge the Crusader with...
So Solitaire and a Troop Master going into combat.
Oh, you didn't do the mistake.
It should be only
I was like, charge with the troop first.
No. I need to get the objective secured on there.
I'm going to...
I assume you're going to
I'm going to Overwatch it, yes.
Loyal Death Gesture, please survive.
So Flamer is going to be 3. So 3 saves from the Flamer.
Takes 3. Down to 2.
Oh, he failed.
I think he's meant to die.
Stubber.
This Death Gesture doing the initial charge, which is
so
what
I got
Eric
12
was hoping
dice
he
here.
wouldn't do.
The battle cannon is going to be
down to 1 wound already.
10 shots.
Off the Overwatch.
3 hits.
Oh, 3 sixes on that battle cannon.
2 wounds.
Oh,
Jesus Christ!
Ooh.
Gatling gun is going to be 13 shots.
Gatling gun about to go. 13 more shots on Marku.
2 hits, so he's going to live. 2 saves. So 4 wounds, unless he had. Oh, he had wounds
he took 2 from the
okay.
Flamer, right?
Oh yeah. So okay, he's
So
dead.
Death Justice picked
Good,
up.
at least.
That's
I knew
a
he
little
was
bit for Eric, but I mean that wasn't the thing he wanted to die. He wanted the troops to charge first, so he could kill as many of them as he could.
Yeah. Like he chose what he was given, though, right?
Yeah, he took what he was good because now they're going to charge and just circle onto the objective, which is all he wanted. He's not going to do, or he's going into the middle objective even better. Yeah. Oh, he's chaining into both. That's oof. Hamza playing smart. He's charging into the Crusader, but then stringing out onto this objective, so he's once again shutting down Eric's
scoring in the turn after.
Scoring.
Like consistently, the deny every time is so important.
That's the game he's playing. That's what he like.
Good work, Hamza.
Hamza's really like using his resources to his maximum. Like I said earlier, that not being able to kill those boats, those Star Weavers in the shooting phase in turn 2 has really come back to bite Eric in the butt real hard.
Yeah, I agree. Can we just take a moment to look at that shot of those two? Oh, okay. Thanks, Tom. But there was
Can we take a look at Eric and Hamza? Like, immediately Tom turns around.
Yeah,
like,
that's
no
fine.
way,
Don't worry,
I'm
Tom.
not
You're doing
interested.
great. But it's been a really great game between these two. Like very collaborative, but also pretty good. Like a pretty good advert for 40K right there. Like that's the picture you want. Like,
oh yeah, these two guys, they're having the best time. Like I joke a lot about Eric being this like rage-induced monster. He's actually one of the kindest people in 40K.
Yeah.
Like I've seen him when that game 3 years ago in that final against Jim Vessel that he basically
great game.
Like the two of them were laughing, and it's hard to make Jim Vessel laugh because he actually has some kind of anger management problem, or he used to before he started playing Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah, let's go, Jim.
But now, but the two of them joking around. Every game you see with Eric seems to just be a laugh fest. He's got that kind of French mentality of everything is bad, so nothing else matters, and. So we see another Armiger. The Armiger picked up the one that was hit by the Troop Master, I believe, that was in that back corner.
Yeah.
So both a Solitaire and a Troop Master hit him. So yeah, that was definitely a deletion about to happen.
I'm really impressed by these 25 mil. I think Solitaires and Death Gestures are on
32s.
They might be on 25s.
Yeah, regardless.
But either
they're
way,
very tiny boys.
The output, especially in the kind of the scope of 40K.
Yes.
And they especially with all these ruins on the board, the ruins feel deeply effective for being able to make those little small units be really strong. Really, really strong, and it's interesting to see where they can get themselves, right?
Oh, yeah.
Love that.
I have loved watching this game, just like the way Hamza has played. He's made a couple small errors, but nothing that it was going to affect the game. He has done exactly what he needed to do against the bigger boy. He ignored these guys as much as he could once he lost his boats, because now the big boys, they can't, like I said, they can't be everywhere. So he's put Eric in a really bad spot. Eric's going to make some points back in the following turns, but it's not going to be enough. This is 100% Hamza's game to lose, and I just don't see it happening at this point. But still,
it's rough for Eric. Eric's
been
played
a
some
great game.
Yeah, it's been a really great game. Eric's played some big plays this game. We know off the back of playing some big plays last night, in round 4. So it would have been nice to see him go through. But that does mean that out of our potentials going into round 6,
it's very likely
Blood Angels.
I'm not sure. Blood Angels and Sisters are still playing, and it's a very tight matchup. There's a lot of sisters left on the board from what we can see here. So I'll try to get at least a score update here from you momentarily.
You actually think you can follow it on ITC Battles app?
Oh, I believe you can, and I believe Val had been trying to follow them, but I know he's been kind of a little busy with Warhammer Fantasy Battle today.
He has.
We're probably seeing Hamza come out of this. Like, the
Maybe.
game's not over. Eric, even though the big boys can't be everywhere, they've got some long-range guns. 66-43 right now for Hamza. So still like a 23-point differential. Eric does have bottom of turn, so he can score big on that turn 5. But he'll only have probably 2 models by the end of this to do that with.
Yeah, he really doesn't have many options.
No.
But like ultimately, so we're going to see
we're going to see Tyranids for sure.
Yeah, Francois.
We're very likely seeing Harlequins, although there's a small chance it'll be Imperial Knights, and then either Sisters or Blood Angels. And what I'm going to do, guys, we could probably Rob, if you want to talk with Eric and Hamza as they play their game, I'm going to walk over to the Sam and Chris Rice game and just see how it's going from a score perspective.
Yeah, so it's going to be, I guess, too objective. So here, I'm just not gonna hold more than you. Well, right now you're not holding this one, but you might when I die. But and you're holding that. So right now you're holding this one and not yet this one. So you're just having this one and this one. Yeah, I just consider this is dead. So if this is dead, you'd be holding that one and maybe that one.
Yeah,
so
I'll
if
still
I
get deadly performance and behind enemy lines in the next turn. So if we talk.
Yeah. Yep.
You're trying to see what points you can, I think, get now, really?
Yeah, so I'm going to start the action here. He's going to shoot in combat with everything except the battle cannon. So, because he's not even moving. Those are coming, though. If I don't...
So he's doing action, he's shooting into melee, then you want to go to shooting?
I guess, no, he's not going to do the action. He's going to move here. Touching this so you can see those guys here.
Can he though? Because there's a big obscuring. If you come here and look. Here. If you want to see them, you'd have to be behind.
Like so?
The laser pointer coming in, key again to this match.
So he's going to go right there.
Absolutely loving it.
No, he's not. He's not doing the action. I guess he's not even going to shoot there. He's just going to move here, like so. And stop right here so I can charge whichever. So, yep, shooting here. He's going to shoot in combat. So
yeah, he
starting
wasn't
with the
able
flamer.
to draw that line of
Flamer's
sight, so
be
he did move himself
6
across the board.
Hit. 4, 6 on 3s. So that's 6 save. Might do it right there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, guys, I'm back here real quick. Just checking out
so
on that
leader's
Sam
got
versus
left
Chris
one.
game.
Leader takes
it's
2 and now Yellow
very,
left
very
that
tight.
one.
Sam
I thought you had
head on point.
okay.
No, 1, 2.
It looks like as the game winds down, he may take it. Chris has wiped out most of Sam's list, though, and he does still have a ton of resources. So I think at the end of this game, it's going to be a 5-10-point game in one person's favor. I know there's a judge currently at the table right now watching things very closely because the game is so tight. We'll have to see what the final is, but the way it looks for me from a points perspective is that it's Sam's game to lose, but it will be tight when it's all said and done. Morven
That seems
Ball.
nice. He seems like a good guy.
Sam is an amazing guy. We just saw a number of Repentia go into Sanguinary Guard, so that's probably some dead Sanguinary Guard. I imagine Sam's going to be mostly tabled when this game is done, but he's done a good job on keeping a secondary.
We saw that yesterday. Like he had resources that kept getting whittled down, but every time he used them absolutely optimally.
Yes.
So like he was just gaining the points where he needed to, and only dying when like it was like, okay, well that's a trade up for me. Like you say, trading up every time, which kind of seemed really important. And again, understanding your position in the game state.
So this is definitely going to come down to the wire. It does look like Blood Angel game to lose, even with Sam being on the verge of being tabled. He does look like he'll have enough resources going into that final turn to score the points he needs. We'll have to wait and see what the final score is. I'll get that from the judge when it happens, if we're still on air. Otherwise, you'll have to follow in ITC Battles app or Best Coast Pairings and see how that plays out when we cut into that final round.
That final round. Looking forward to it. I really, really am. Okay, we're going to listen.
Cut back these players.
Yeah, let's listen to the players and see how they're finding this game.
Okay, -1 hit.
I'm going to double the number of swing because I have CP, so might as well. Not that that bike really matters, but I couldn't get to the dead chest to the other one. So, Jesus Christ. Good thing I doubled up on the number of attack because.
Wow, that was a lot of misses. Jeez.
So that's going to be 6 invul save.
This is on the bike?
On the bike. So bike
Takes
would be
2.
dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you can swing first. Well,
Alright,
you can
the
pick a
Trip
unit.
Master?
Yeah, I'm going to give myself +1 save.
Sure.
And I didn't
All
heal.
hit.
Yes.
And rerolled wounds. 3 at AP2, 3 damage.
So 4 up. I make
So
one. I'm going to
6
see. I'm going to CP reroll 1. So
6 damage.
So no, I got 2. It's AP2. It's the rose.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, so 3 damage.
Yep. So 3 goes down to 2.
He's Bastard's Helm. Oh, he's not the Bastard's Helm. So, okay.
He still got some.
For a
goes
small
up to
moment, I
5.
really thought he was calling
Because
the,
he still
all
got
of the knights the
thing.
bastards.
So now
so
I
I thought
get
he was
to
doing
swing
Pete.
with him first.
Sure. I still got
So this is
5
this
from-
ongoing
I
combat
got, and
here
did I kept my
at the bottom.
CP? No, I did not. So he's
Yeah,
going to
Eric's-
double swing.
Eric's trying to clear off as much
I
of the
already
middle
did the
of the
double
board
swing.
as
So he's going to
possible
get
so that he
exploding
can
sixes
maximize his points on turn 5. That's really
into
what
the
this
dead
is
jester
about,
here.
Is Eric's trying to work out, can he get a good 20
I'm
some
going
odd
to go
point
with
swing
just 4
on
attack and
turn
hope
5?
that it works.
Like the Harlequins are so fast, even with only 2 or 3
1
models
sixes,
left
so
on the board
2
for
hits.
Hamza moving into that final round.
On 2s. I'm going to
like he
CP
can make
reroll
things
that.
happen.
Did you
So
already
Eric
CP
needs as
reroll,
much
saving
stuff
throw?
dead as possible.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Did I? Yeah. Yeah, I did. So
Okay.
so just 1.
Just the 1?
Just the 1.
Cool.
So he takes 3.
Perfect.
Okay,
I would
cool.
much
So we can
appreciate it.
finish up our turn.
Thank
It's
you.
going to take literally
2
3
minutes.
minutes. No.
No.
Well, I think we've been
Shots
going.
fired.
That's
I
Darren
love it,
Say,
dude.
We've been going good, so you can do your
lovely
attack.
man who made us eat slimy lobster last night.
Yeah, so that's Darren. Darren's a wonderful person.
He's
like,
so beautiful.
Like a great human being.
We had a 12-course meal that Darren made himself.
and then
Well, he
next
felt
week
like he
is
made it
90
himself.
APQ.
Yeah.
Last
So I
night.
guess
so much meat.
end of
It
my
was so-
turn.
and you only
So,
ate
what are you scoring?
I get to score stranglehold for 3 for 2. Well, yeah, 3 points.
what's that
My
one?
yield no ground. Sorry. Honors for 2 points, and renew deal nothing for now. And yep, that's it.
It's going to go over to me. I'm going to control 1.
Yep.
We're going to see our.
I'm going to start
So
performing a
Hamza
strategic
cut down
scan on
to
this
only
objective
4
with
points
this
on this primary
unit
on
here.
this final
Yep.
turn.
So that should give me another one.
All Darren was saying, in case you guys
I'll
didn't
be able to
notice,
mental
was
interrogate to get my last
that
3. I'll move in advance.
was that they were going to give them a few extra minutes because they're on the stream table, and we did take a few minutes off their time at the beginning to explain what they were and were not allowed to do.
Again, an almost impossible feature is to gain, like, unless you guys listen to player audio full time. To update the overlays, you've got to listen to what's going on.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
an important factor.
So it's been a whole thing. These guys have been playing such a beautiful game. Yeah, Darren was just letting them know they'd be allowed to finish their turn 5 by giving them an extra 5 or 6
And again,
minutes.
looking at the scorecard, if this is up to date, there's a 23-point difference in it. Eric down on those points. It's the secondary that's secondary and the primary that's really been effective. As you can see, Hamza denying the primary. He scored his primary really well, but I also think he did a really good job of denying the primary.
That's the big thing. It's that denial. That Eric was really hoping to get at least a 12 on that turn 3. But Hamza, by those boats not dying, Hamza was able to run troops onto every objective and shut Eric down to the point where he only had this one corner objective to himself with 2 Helverins. And that was it. So only scoring a 4 on that turn. That's an 8-point loss to Eric right there, which happened again the turn after because, once again, those troops, what remained of them, were able to just hop around and pop onto objectives and steal them from Eric's big boys. But now Hamza down to 4 or 5 models on the board. They're not going to do a ton of damage. They might pop this last small boy, and I think that's all Hamza's going to try to do. And I do not think Eric can score 20-some-odd points on the bottom of his turn.
I don't think so either.
Like,
look at that, 22 points between him.
If this Helverin lives, he could score 12. He could score 12 on primary at the end of the turn.
So 2 mortal wounds on that.
So that's going to be big for him, and he might be able to score. He might be able to make it get it close, but I just don't think it's in him to do.
I don't think so either.
And now that it's dead, I don't think he has a chance. He's going to be scoring maximum 8 on his primary, 11 because he might be able to do the action to get another 3, but that's not enough. I think that kind of firms up the game for Hamza right there. We'll let it play out, but like this seems to be like a good 10 to 15 point win at the very least for Hamza when this is done.
I agree. Okay, let's listen to the players, see how they're doing. And great, good work for Hamza
I don't
as
even
well.
want to look at the distance.
I don't even know why I'm going to do the hits, but I'm going to do it because it's glorious. 5s, rerolls. All right, please take 2 saves at AP 2, 3 damage. And
So 5 up.
Yeah.
So makes 1, so takes 3. I'm not even going to put
Don't
it there
even bother,
because
yeah.
it
So
doesn't.
I got
doesn't mind, doesn't
3 for
bother.
deadly because I'm in your zone and I discovered a new objective.
Yep.
4 more for behind enemy. Having my 2 units, there's a troop master and 1 guy here.
One of the things I really like about competitive gamers, especially playing at this level, and Hamza's doing a really good job, as was Eric, is the over-communication. It's 3 attacks at AP2 doing damage 3. Like, they give you all the information that you need to process as it's happening.
Exactly.
I really like that. And then Eric was doing the same, right? 2 saves of a 5, as opposed to rolling some dice and saying, I saved them.
And another thing,
Good tip.
These guys play so much. Like Hamza has been in this scene for, I don't know, it feels like 700 years. Ever since I've joined in, people have told me about Hamza. This is my first time actually seeing him play.
Okay, good game.
But like when you watch these 2 guys play, if they make a mistake, they call each other out, and there's no anything. It's just like, oh yeah, you're right, and they move forward, right? There's no saltiness. There's oh maybe you're wrong. Let me pull up my book. We saw that with Francois and Tim. We didn't see a lot of them and their interactions, but it was very much the same. Tim would be like, are you sure that's a 4-up armor save? And Francois would be like, let me pull out my book. It all happened very quick. There was no like bickering or anything. It was like, this is just how it is, and that's. It keeps the game efficient. It keeps it tight. And you can have this game where these 2 guys are laughing it up while like Eric is just slowly losing like his mind because sometimes when you go for calculated targeting, you only do 2 mortal wounds, and
sometimes you do.
Sometimes that's all that
you
happens.
do, and it's a sad time. Okay, let's tune into the players again. You can hear some of that great conversation.
He's going to do the action in the middle, and that's going to be it. So the action, does it give me an honor points? Yes, it does. So I'm going up to 6, which changed literally nothing. He's going to shoot here. He's going to put everything into well, not everything. He's going to go with.
I think with that point difference, I think that we can comfortably say with a 32-point difference that's going to be going to be.
So we're
going
to see Eric score probably 11 here on primary. He'll get another 8 or 9 on secondary points here. And yeah, so it'll be close. Like we're looking at probably a 66, 67 for Eric, to 80 for Hamza. Well, we'll let it play out because maybe there's something that I'm missing.
No, I think we heard Eric say that he think that it does
5
not
saves.
score. But we'll listen.
He dead.
He did.
So Gatling and Stubbers here. So Gatling is going to be 16 shots.
Oh shit! Yeah, he's dead. He has 2 wounds left.
Cool. Yep.
Yeah, he's dead.
I appreciate. So then that completes. So I'm going to score 2 points on Stranglehold, on my Yield No Ground, 2 points on Honor, another 5 points on Renewed the Oath, get 8 points on Primary.
So 17 more points, like I kind of said. That should, unless there's been a miscalculation previously, get into about 67,
so we can
65, 66.
So I have you at 10 on Yield.
That's going to be 6, 9, 10. Yes, 10 on Yield.
11 on Honor.
I get 8. Yes, 11. Well.
And then 5 on Renew.
I'll just check. Probably 11. I'll check one thing. 10 on Renew.
10. Oh, did I miss something? Oh,
Yeah, I did the action. I did the action
yep,
twice.
You did. Yep.
I'd be at 8, 16.
So 10, 11.
So
for just for people tuning in, this is round 5 of 6 rounds. There's a 6th round, and we've probably got 3 undefeated going into that. So we're going to have those 3 undefeated going into the final, and we're pretty certain it's going to be Harlequins, Blood Angels, and Tyranids. We don't know how the draw is going to go and which one of those 3 are going to get drawn together ultimately, and we'll see what the matches are. But we will be covering both of those 2 finals on the top table here during round 6.
Yeah, so we'll definitely have 3 undefeated going into the final round, and I believe there is at least one 4-0-1 player that will be paired up into either the Blood Angels. Like, we're still waiting on the final result from Blood Angels versus Sisters. I believe judges are talking out the score right now with the players. So hopefully we'll get the final score there to see who actually won that game. But yeah, it looks like we'll have Harlequins and Tyranids, and then either Gene Stealer, Cults, or Knights. against Blood Angels is what I've been told, but we'll wait and see for sure. And you guys will find out, well, when we come back.
Yeah, when we come back. Well, listen, we're going to come back to us now. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Exciting game. I just want to especially...
I'm always surprised when I see myself. I look so handsome.
You do. That's true.
Rick's saying I don't.
Yeah, I think so.
Rick
So
has
round
weird
5,
ears.
Capital City Bloodbath. We're into the exciting bit now. Who's going to take it away? Who's going to be the Capital City Bloodbath champion? Who's going to dominate the meta? Who are Reddit going to call a monster tomorrow?
Who are Reddit going to say cheated because they didn't watch any of these games?
They watched none of the games back. We'll find out. We'll find out in but hours. So do join us again when we because we're going to go to a holding screen now.
And we're going to eat lunch. We're going to have probably focaccia.
Loads
Leftover
of focaccia. So thank you, especially thank you to the stream team. So obviously thank you to the Falcon. Big shout out to Dickie. Thank you, Tom, the cameraman, did an amazing job, and our infield reporter.
Tom did the best job, and Hef, he disappeared. He went and he's just sat beside that small child, and he's just staring intensely at him because he's so angry about that interview. He did not do that, guys. He did not. Thank you, Rob, for being the best host, the best commentator in all of AOS. Not 40K.
Not 40K, no. Dear God, no stretch to the imagination. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon. Thank you very much, and join us again for the final. Exciting.